Franklin County Board of County Commissioners now in session for this regular scheduled meeting Wednesday, May 20th. It's good to see everyone here today. We have a pretty extensive agenda, so we'll go ahead and get started. Thank you, Michael, Aaron, and everyone else involved in helping us get this agenda prepared. Let's do the people's business. Commissioner Ward, can you lead us in prayer and pledge, please?
Yes. Lord, we come to you today as we conduct our county business. We pray that you will guide our thoughts, guide our minds. Let the people understand, Lord, what leads us to make the decisions we make, and let them understand that it's not a difficult process by any means. But at the end of the day, we have our county at the best in the best of our hearts. We pray that you will help anyone in our community that just needs your healing touch, and people that don't know you, Lord. We pray that they find you. In your holy name we pray. Amen. Amen. Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, Mr. Morone, we had to amend the agenda. We had some late ads, correct?
Yes, we do. Good morning, Commissioners. First, on Aaron's report, you're going to see 2 late ads that came in yesterday afternoon. So you're going to treat those as if you would any other late ad with calling for public comments. In addition to that, I didn't get Attorney Schuler's report up on the agenda till late yesterday afternoon, so that he has 2 action items, I believe. You're going to treat those 3. Apologize, 3 action items. Call for public comments before he starts his report, Commissioners, Mr. Chairman, so that you can do that. I will, for the public, I will be distributing copies of Attorney Schuler's report here in a minute once we get the meeting started.
Okay.
I'm running a little behind this morning, so.
Yep, no problem. All right, so anything else? That's it? That covers it?
That's it, Aaron? Just those 2 late ads? That was it? Yes.
Just wanted to
I make a
check.
motion, Mr. Chairman, to amend the agenda to reflect what Mr. Morone was saying.
All right, so we have a motion to approve the agenda as it's been amended
Second.
by Commissioner Sanders. It's been seconded by Commissioner Croom and Commissioner Ward. Any discussion, Commissioners? Seeing none, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? That's unanimous. Now we need to approve minutes from the regular meeting of April 15th, 2026.
So move.
All right, we have a motion to approve by Commissioner Croom,
Second.
second by Commissioner Sanders. Can we amend this motion to include paying the county's bills at the same time? I'm sorry, I didn't read that.
I amend the motion.
You amend your second?
So amended.
All right, so we're approving these minutes and paying the county's bills with this motion. Any discussion before we vote? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That's unanimous. This time, we're going to move to public comments. I'm just pulling in the order that I have them. Ms. Gail Rugemeyer, please come forward. You have 5 minutes. Please state your name for the record.
Michael, I have some handouts. Thank you. Good morning, Gail Rigglemeyer, St. George Island. The purpose of me being here this morning up here is to share information with the intention of informing your choices and decisions related to building a community center and a public auditorium on St. George Island. At the September 3rd County Commission meeting, it was approved to move forward with a project planning and participation grant for $294,000 for an application for feasibility, planning, and design of a public auditorium project on St. George Island, and then it goes into all the details of what that includes. So I'm guessing that this idea came from the SGI Civic Club's Vision 2025, done back in 2019, which was 7 years ago, and that was decided by only 171 Civic Club members. Not all SGI residents and property owners belong to the Civic Club. So I got to thinking, most people don't even know that this is even being considered, nor have had the opportunity to voice their opinion on it. So what I did is I created an informal poll on the SGI Owners Only Facebook page that comprises 1,700 vetted SGI property owners. The handout that I just asked to be given to you shows the results of the 13 SGI, St. George Island Civic Club SGI Vision 2025 initiatives, and there were 13 of them, and you'll notice that the asterisk ones are the ones that were already completed, so thank you for that. Those are for the public's knowledge. Roadways, stormwater, runoff, sidewalks, alleyways, that was done. Lighthouse Park restrooms, beautification of Franklin Boulevard, children's playground, Island Causeway improvements, parking area improvements, and pickleball courts. And thank you for all of that. But you will notice that the community center ranked at the bottom of this. It was number 12 out of 13 projects, with only 97 of the 171 Civic Club members who voted for it. So it wasn't popular at that time, and it's still not popular according to the Facebook poll. My Facebook poll had a total of 286 respondents, and of them, 170 chose to leave it as is. And on the bottom of the chart from the Civic Club, you'll see that when I did the poll, I put the community center, which is being proposed, and then the dog park. In talking with just members of the community, some people are saying, well, I would like to see a dog park there. So I just put those two options there, and then I had another option, other uses be specific, and so I allowed the poll to have things added as people wanted to. And so someone added leave as is, and you will see that 59% of the 286 people, or 170 of them, want to leave it as is. And on the second, and then somebody added a community garden, which 4 people voted for that. But you see on the second page the actual screenshot of my poll, and then I also captured the comments that were associated with the poll. So you'll see other ideas in there, and you'll see more support for leaving it as is, because some people didn't actually click the button to be registered in the numbers. So the point is, I set up the poll to allow respondents to add their own ideas and others to share their opinion, and with all the support of leaving the property natural, I hope that the Facebook poll respondents will be heard and their opinions seriously considered, so more county dollars and resources aren't spent on something that isn't widely popular. Thank you for your consideration.
Thank you. I don't see her. Is Ms. Carlin attending online? Ms. Brenda, are you attending via Zoom?
Michael's probably got to do the hand raise thing.
I'll have to. Ms. Brenda, if you are, we'll come back to you. I'm sorry. Mr. Alstone? Please state your name for the record.
Yeah, Al Stone, St. George Island, 757 West Pine. And thank you, commissioners, for all that you do. And I mean, I have a prepared, as many of y'all know, speech, and not to address what was just said, but just to the contrary. The polls and things are not determined because you are elected. The greatest poll that could be taken in this place today is you seated there by our community. And I agree. I wish things could leave as they is, or they are, but they stay the same. I use an illustration. I used to yell at my children often, at least weekly, to stop it, stop it, stop it. I wanted them to leave it as they were because they continued to do something I hated. It's called growing up. They continued to change. And as a good parent, I use the illustration to apply that you are parents of our community, elected by the people to represent us and to make good decisions. Though I side with many here today that I wish we could keep this place the same. That's why I moved here. But we have to make proper decisions. And so I made proper decisions for my children who did not obey me. They continued to grow up. Today, my daughter is a graduate of the University of Georgia Law School. Though she is menacing, She could lead you to Jesus, or she can send you to Jesus, and I promise you, she can make you pray to Jesus. My son is a Citadel. He went to the Citadel, though he was appointed to the Merchant Marine Academy. He graduated from Marion Military Institute. I put everything I could in front of my children so that children could be, and they are self-sufficient. They do not call me for money. Thank God. My point is this. Many of the decisions that I made as a parent are paying dividends today, though I'm long gone. And yet, if I leave this planet, my voice and the decisions that I made in their lives will still affect my grandchildren. Make good decisions. You can't leave it as it is, because change is inevitable and you can't stop it. Be the parents that you were elected to be and make good decisions. Thank you for your service.
Mr. Reynolds, still on there. We got Michael. We got to do Ms. Carlin's comment. I'm assuming she's on Zoom because I don't see her in the room, Michael.
I apologize, yeah.
Ms. Brenda Carlin.
Hands raised, yes.
Yep.
Allow us to talk.
Ms. Brenda, can you hear us?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am. Go ahead. You have 5 minutes.
Okay, I won't need 5 minutes, but good morning, Commissioners.
Morning.
And I just want to invite you, I'm doing a public reading of the Declaration of Independence the weekend of June 13 and 14 and at the St. George Island Lighthouse Park. And I have sent a flyer to Mr. Moran, Michael, that can be shared. And so I just encourage you, if you'd like to attend, please do. It's from 1 to 1:30 each day. And, I just want to share the information with people that you know in the community. And we'd love to see you there. And this is in celebration of America 250. And that's all that I had to say this morning, okay?
Yep. Thank you, Ms. Brenda, and we appreciate the invite and making sure people are aware, and through this public forum, maybe even more will be aware of that announcement after today. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, that concludes our public comments. Ms. Jennifer Daniels, Emergency Management. Come on down.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Morning.
I have just 2 action items. And my first one is I'm requesting the board's approval and signing of the POD MOU. A POD is a point of distribution with the city of Apalachicola. We're just trying to get everything prepared for hurricane season and make sure all of our MOUs are in effect and ready to roll, and we are set and prepared, so.
All right. Any questions, Commissioners? If there are none, I would entertain a motion.
So move.
All right, we have a motion to approve by Commissioner Croom,
Second.
second by Commissioner Ward. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? That's unanimous. Go ahead, Ms. Jennifer.
My second action item, I'm requesting the board's approval and signing of our MOU with the Franklin County School Board to help us transport our transportation disadvantaged people out of the county to shelters during a disaster.
So move.
All right, we have a motion to approve by Commissioner Amison. That motion has been seconded by Commissioner Sanders. I do have a question, though, in discussion,
Yes, sir.
or maybe more of a statement. To make sure people are aware, we still are limited on our transportation disadvantage stuff by declarations the state does in shelters they either open or refuse to open, correct?
Yes, we are. However, we have worked out for our special needs patients.
Yes.
to transport to another shelter in Jackson County.
Okay,
And we've worked this out with the Department of Health,
Okay.
and we have that all situated and taken care of, so we're not dependent on like Leon or Wakulla
Right.
or whatever opening a shelter.
do you know where that's at in Jackson County, Jim?
I can put it on,
That's fine.
I can get it for you.
Either way.
Yes, sir.
But I'm glad I asked because that is a change.
Yes, sir.
In the past, we've had things we thought were going to be events, but then a shelter didn't open.
Yes, sir.
So there wasn't nowhere to take, you know what I mean? So,
Yes,
a
that's
good
one of the
thing.
things, we had worked really close with Department of Health. They are
Yes.
amazing, let me just say that. They're really good at working with us to do stuff like this. And so we have this open, set, and ready to go when we need it.
yeah.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you for continuing to stay engaged with our transportation disadvantaged folks and all the things that go into that. It's a lot of people in the room. It takes a lot of collaboration, but it pays off if we do have an event, how smoothly things run because of the preparedness. So thank you for that, Ms. Jennifer.
Oh, thank you, and I would like to say, we are pushing very strongly, especially again with us rolling into storm season. If you or anyone you know has any kind of, it's called the special needs listing, if there's any problems that would cause you not to be able to evacuate on your own, or you maybe even just need that extra phone call to say,
Yes.
do you have plans? Please call us. We'll sign you up. We'll do the paperwork for you. We will handle it all. We just need to know who you are. We can't check on our people if we don't know who needs that extra little bit of assistance.
So if I'm hearing you right, defining special needs doesn't just mean that there's a special medical need. Just means a special need, period.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
The special needs listing, yes, sir, that does require specific medical needs, and it's evaluated through the Department of Health. However, we have several other programs like the Transportation Disadvantage Program, and we have even just a phone call to say to someone who may not be sure about evacuating, and we will do that also. We will make that phone call and just check on people and say, have you made plans? Where are you going? Do you need transportation to that location? What can we do to assist you?
Right. That's good to know because we need to be prepared now. I hope we have a season with absolutely no hurricanes. In Florida, that would be great. We need a couple of years like that.
Yes, we do. Yes, sir.
But anyway, those were all my questions and thoughts. Thank you, Ms. Jennifer. Anyone else?
Yeah,
Have
Mr.
a
Chair.
discussion?
Jenny, our transportation provider for the county, I think it's Big Bend Transit. Do they help us with anything on transporting during disasters that you know of as well?
Yes, sir. We use Big Bend Transit. They
Okay.
actually, we have an MOU with them, and they transport our specific special needs clients. And we use the Franklin County School Board to transport our people who just do not have transportation to a shelter.
Gotcha.
And that way, we're not overrunning one or the other with too many to get out at one time. And plus, Big Bend Transit has a little bit more capabilities to haul people with special needs versus the school board, who they're wonderful. They work with us amazingly.
Okay, I was just making sure they are involved with helping us, so.
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
since you're here,
Yes, ma'am.
the burn ban.
Yes, ma'am.
I know.
We still got to vote. We still got to vote.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, you're good. We were under discussion.
I'm
before-
sorry.
I'm sorry, I started discuss. We still got to vote. Is there any more discussion before we vote, though? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Commissioner, you have the floor.
The burn ban, I know if you could take a dollar for every time you've heard that just in this week,
Yes, ma'am.
you'd be rich and could take a couple days off. But what is the current status of that? If you could just for our public, so they're aware.
Yes, ma'am. Right now, I would, we are still under the burn ban. I would suggest leaving it in place, just hopefully just a little bit longer. We are in constant contact with National Weather Service, Division of Forestry. I pulled this morning and looked, and we are still in the exceptional drought condition. We are still, I believe, about 10 inches of rain shy, getting us up to where we need to be. And I hate to say it, but the outlook for any extensive amounts of rain is not looking very great right now. They're saying more into June, yes, but right now, I believe in the next week, we're looking at about a half of inch, maybe, and that's on the good side. I saw this morning Wakulla has taken theirs burn ban down, but we're still under ours, and Gulf County is still under theirs. I hate to say it, and my daddy is fussing at me every day. But right now, I would suggest, with us being in that exceptional drought condition, to still leave it in effect. The new drought statement comes out every Thursday, and so we'll have a call on it tomorrow also. And if there's any changes at all, I promise I will contact you, let you know, and I'm more than willing to pull it as soon as we can get to a level where we can. I just don't think we want to take the chance of causing problems, especially we have the holiday weekend coming up, lots of fires wanting to, I know people want to burn, but with this where we are, I would definitely say no, not yet.
Yeah, I'm gonna let Mr. Schuler
Go ahead.
talk about it. Go ahead.
On the burn ban, I looked at the ordinance yesterday afternoon, I did not see it online on like the county commission website. So are there any exceptions to the burn ban for things like burn barrels with covers or people grilling out?
Grilling, yes, sir, grilling, and yes, sir, when you can find it, we've got it on our website. On our website, yes, sir, it's listed on there, and we uploaded a copy so everybody has it. Or so people can access it pretty quickly, and I can send it to you, Michael, if you wanted to put it on yours. And,
Didn't think about that.
but yes, sir, it does make exceptions for grilling, but again, if you're grilling, please don't leave it unattended. Be out there with it, grill, make sure everything's out, and, yes, sir.
Grills only, but not burn barrels?
No, sir. No burn ban, or no burn barrels at all.
Well,
No,
I'm gonna chime in right now. We've
Yes,
got
sir.
the Legion, the American Legions, and I don't know if the one in Apalachicola does it, but it's a yearly practice at the Legion in Lanark to do the honoring of the old flags and burning them. It's a burning ceremony. And they have a barrel, they have the fire department on standby,
Yes,
and they want to know if they could burn the flags in in the ceremony that they always have. So that's the reason why I'm asked Mr. Schuler to bring that up.
Yes, ma'am. I'm more than, if you want to make that specific exception, Commissioner, I'm more than happy to go in, write something up, and get it to you. I'll work with Attorney Schuler and see if we can't take care of that.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, we'll do that then. Because like I told the folks that called me yesterday about it, I told them, I said, I don't see any harm in it, but I've got to take it to the county. But I said, what I would do is definitely wet the ground down before you put the barrel out there to burn, and then have that fire department on standby with maybe a grate over it, to where
Yes,
the
ma'am.
ashes don't go off.
Yes, ma'am.
That's a special thing, right?
Yes, ma'am. If y'all want me to do this, I will absolutely, I will go back and we can add something in. I'll work with Attorney Schuler to get that taken care of.
So I think if we're going to do that, I think I would be more comfortable with us doing my motion and vote, but I will call for public comment since it was not published in our agenda. There is other things we need to talk about this burn ban though, but if, Attorney Schuler, what do you think?
We're under, as I understand it, a declared state of emergency that was declared, I guess, several weeks ago. So I think you would need to renew the declaration of emergency to continue. I haven't seen the ordinance. I'm assuming that it's one of those declarations that needs to be renewed.
Yeah.
You know, the ordinance just says it's in effect until the board ends the declaration.
This one actually says it's in effect until the board removes it.
And have the board been renewing the temporary state of emergency since its initial declaration?
No, sir, we've never done that with a burn ban. On the burn ban, we've left it with an open-ended until it is redacted, revoked, removed, till we get rid of it.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
thank you. I hate to do this live, it's kind of like.
No, you're fine.
Sausage is made, you know, it's not pretty, but they taste good.
Yeah, exactly, but yes, sir.
So my recommendation to the board would be to, if the board wants to amend the current ordinance to declare a state of emergency for the purposes of amending the burn ban, if the board is inclined to allow burn barrels that have screens to hold in ashes and use it standby with.
Well, now, the Legion's gonna have a standby by the fire department, yeah. Out there.
I think the board can do that if the board is so inclined.
All right. So we don't need to address anything with an emergency declaration?
Yes, I
That-
think you would need to
Okay.
declare, that, or at least affirm that the declaration of emergency is still in force and effect,
Okay.
and that your intention to amend the current ordinance to allow for what's been discussed today, which is, when we say burn barrel, I'm assuming we need a 55-gallon drum.
Yes.
With an ash screen and then standby, fire departments to
Right.
make sure that any spot openers are taken care of.
Right.
That's what I heard the commissioner say.
Okay.
My question on that, Attorney Schuler, is when we talk about the barrel, are we talking about countywide, or are we talking about this
No,
specific
just that
event?
one use.
I
Correct?
think it would be county-wide, but if they've got to have a fire department on standby, I don't think that would necessarily.
Yeah, we're not gonna be able to, fire department's not gonna be able to handle that request.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think that's opening up a can of worms.
You're gonna have 10 people at one
Right.
time wanting to burn, that they can't possibly handle that request.
No, it was just
Basically
about
takes
that.
care of itself by
Yeah.
adding that language in there. You
Yes.
don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, that's kind of my thinking, that it
Okay.
would take care of itself.
Okay.
If they can't meet the conditions, then there would be a violation of the burn ban.
Okay,
Well, that's what they're trying not to do, is be in violation of the burn
Right.
ban.
right, okay. All right, so that's as clear as mud. Anybody want to make a motion?
I'll make a motion.
It's also just-
It's all good. So we do have a motion to approve by Commissioner Amison.
Second.
We have a second by Commissioner Croom, and that the motion has been to approve, or to reaffirm this emergency declaration and this burn ban, and to approve what's going to take place over in Lanark with the burn barrel, having the screen or the cover and emergency fire department on standby, and others, if they can meet the criteria, can also do the same thing. Commissioner Croom, do you have a discussion?
Just what you said, I'm in favor of it because, it's an annual event, and really because the fire department is actually going to be on
Yes.
scene, on site, so
Yes.
I don't see no issue with it.
Any other discussion before we vote? All right, all in favor? Oh, I'm sorry. My bad. We do need to call for public comment. This was not published on the agenda. Is there anyone in the room that wishes to comment about this publicly before the board takes action today? There's nobody moving. Is there anybody with hands raised on Zoom that might wish to comment on this before we
Anyone
take action?
attending by Zoom would like to comment on this, please raise your hand,
This is an amendment to what we previously had.
so you can be recognized regarding the burn ban amendment process. No hands raised.
All right, we have called for public comment in the room. Those attending via Zoom, we have had no public comment. Commissioners, do you have any further discussion before we vote? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? That's unanimous. Anything else, Ms. Jennifer?
I just wanted to give an update with hurricane season right here around the corner. We are,
Go ahead.
we're going to do it very quietly. We are making, again, like our MOUs we have here, we're making our preparations. We've been doing them throughout the year. We are asking the community to make sure they are prepared also by making sure you're signed up for Alert Franklin, signing up for the special needs list that we were talking to, our transportation disadvantage list. Give us a call if you have questions about any of those. We have our debris contracts in effect. We have held our meetings with, or we're in the process of finishing those up with our faith-based organizations. Our contractors, pre-season contractors meetings, our ESF meetings, our department head meetings. We are trying to make sure we're covering all of our bases. If anybody has any questions, please call us. We are looking at right now, with El Nino, it's hopefully not going to be as bad as it was originally predicted, but they're looking at 11 to 14 named storms, 5 to 7 of those hurricanes, and 2 to 3 of those being major hurricanes. So we want to, again, we ask the community to please make sure to make your preparations now. If you have questions about how to make a plan, give us a call. We'll walk you through how to make your family plans. We're here to serve the community. So please, if you need anything, give us a call. We're here.
Where are we with reentry tags?
We are no longer doing reentry tags.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
I'm going to clarify that.
Yes, no longer doing
So
reentry tags.
what is the current protocol for that?
Yes, sir. Have your driver's license with you. If your driver's license do not show Franklin County's address, have some form of documentation with you showing that you own property. It can be a tax bill, a power bill, just something with your name and address to connect you to that property and to present to the deputies if you are stopped.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
That clarifies it.
Yes,
Just
sir.
want to make sure it's all part of being storm ready. Mr. Chairman.
Absolutely. Yes, sir.
All right. Anyone else have any comments or
Yeah.
concerns?
Mr. Chair, and Jenny, can you make sure you get that information out about acceptable forms of identification to reenter?
Yes,
So we
sir.
don't have to have them no more.
Yes, sir.
Thank you for your hurricane brief there. Can you tell me how your event went this past weekend?
We raised a little over $1,000 for our CERT team by raffling off a grill, which turned out to be, that was really awesome. Our CERT team is our community emergency response team. They're our volunteers we have some volunteers like Tim Keith Lucas here. He's our ops chief. He's with me at least 2 to 3 days a week. We have several other volunteers who are at my EOC who work 40 hours a week, volunteering their time with the EOC. And so all the funds that were raised from this event will go to help purchase equipment and gear for them, just like with the Leonard's Landing search we assisted the Sheriff's Department with. Our CERT team needs things like walking sticks and snake bite chaps and flashlights and just any kind of gear they may need. This is something that helps support them. And so we considered our event a success. We would have liked to have had more people or more of a turnout, but however, we still think it was absolutely a success. We love the community, love to be able to get out there and talk to people about getting ready for storms. So,
Thank you.
yes, sir.
Anyone else? Ms. Daniels, thank you for everything you do.
Yes, sir.
for
Thank
Franklin
you.
County. Yes, ma'am. Mr. Steve Kirschenbaum, Airport Manager.
Ladies and gentlemen, Steve Kirschenbaum, Airport Manager. I'm here today to address an issue from last week by Mr. Brian Callahan with 4 questions that he had regarding the airport. Just letting you know that I surround myself at that airport as airport manager with talent. I have an engineer, I have an environmental consultant, I have an airport board, I have department heads and commissioners. I am not an environmental engineer, and I am not a construction manager. We retain people to do those things. But Brian came to me when the runway cleaning project started, and at our pre-construction meeting that I met with the construction manager from TRP Contracting, he said, this is the way it's done everywhere in the state. It's clean water on a runway. Well, Brian came to me and said that the residual coming off the runway could have contaminants, and in his experience with the Air Force, that these are steps that need to be taken. I blew him off because the construction manager said this is the way we do it. So I aggravated him a little bit, and he came here, and some of his questions were relevant. So after a cordial meeting with Mr. Callahan on Monday, I listened. He had some valid concerns that will be addressed today. Most of all, rather than dancing around the issue with our county coordinator's blessing, I asked our environmental consultant to self-report on our behalf to DEP for their take on the project. This way, we're good. Has everybody reviewed John Collins' questions that were answered, and are there any questions to that? All right, we'll have Scott here from Backroads Environmental to go over the last question and how the project is being handled. Scott, can you come on up? And then I just have a quick closing comment when we're done.
Okay.
And commissioners, this was kind of last minute, wrapped up yesterday. I will get you all an email copy of everything we're talking about tomorrow.
All right, sounds good.
Go ahead, Scott.
Good morning, Mr. Davis.
Morning. Okay. So as far as this component of the airport is concerned, went out and looked at the runways. I looked at the byproduct of the pressure washing, which were some mounds of sediment, mostly silicates with some organics mixed in with them. And I collected samples of the mounds. For the sake of creating a control, I also collected sediment from the adjacent uplands at the runway. I went ahead and collected them, had a good manifest of transmission to get them to McGlynn Laboratories in Tallahassee. It's a well-established, nationally recognized laboratory for looking at sediment, looking at water, and the owner of the facility is probably one of the best chemists I've ever met in my life. So he went ahead and implemented a 2-week procedure to analyze that material, and in 2 weeks of analyzing it with his methods, he did not determine that there was anything hazardous in any of that material. So taking his report, and he does have a report, I'm not sure if you have access to it or not. If you do not, we have it and we can send it. I went ahead and initiated a meeting with FDEP to discuss the findings in the sediment as well as the activity associated with it, which is pressure washing the runways without any additives or any sort of chemical that would be used like a detergent to clean it. So I explained the procedure. The contractor and the machines basically pressure wash the runway. And then as they pressure wash the runway, they also collect that material and bring it back and are to dump it in a self-contained upland, preferably with a liner, but that's not necessary in a number of conditions if it's in an upland. And if anything about how it's currently been done would trigger the requirement for what's known as an NPDES permit. NPDES permits are required at a lot of airports around the state if you are engaged in construction, if you are engaged in bona fide maintenance activities where you're likely to have a runoff of oil or grease or some sort of other contamination. But as far as the pressure washing and the material is concerned, FDEP went ahead and stated, it's in the public domain if you want to look it up, that an NPDES permit is not required as far as this activity is concerned. I do know there was some question about the methods, the methodology, and the validity of the testing of the sediment, but I do believe that there was a discussion between the complainant and the chemist himself about this to discuss that methodology. But in general, there's no NPDES permit required at this time for what is happening on the runway. Are there any questions that I can answer?
Commissioners have any questions?
I got a couple.
All right.
The contractor, they obviously have done this once or twice, I'm assuming,
Yes.
around the state of Florida.
They're the FDOT contractor for this exact operation.
Okay. My other question is how much did all this cost us, having these tests done? I'm just curious.
This is probably going to cost us about $2,500, $3,000.
It's going to cost us money
Yes.
whenever, this contractor's done it at hundreds of airports, I'm assuming, over the state of Florida.
I'm going to try to work out a remediation for that with the contractor. So I'll let you know how that goes. Also, I just wanted to read one sentence from the laboratory that analyzed the spoils. Greetings, I'm submitting my toxicity report attached to this email. I found no toxicity. I was surprised, but it's probably due to baking Apalachicola sun on a concrete runway. That is the way they treat pollution at old gas stations. They incinerate it. So the stuff was clean. The other thing I just wanted to tell you guys is, Mr. Callahan, I appreciate your concern. He was concerned about our drinking water. He lives near the airport. But closing, after the meeting today with Mr. Callahan, I took steps to bring our airport up to speed. Some are being addressed today, others will be worked on over the coming months. Many were never in place as our airport was a small rural airport, but as we grow, we'll necessitate them. I need to file for the MPDES permit because we do have somebody repairing aircraft on site that the oil's taken care of correctly. Also, I need to have a BMP procedures in place for mobile oil spills, oil absorbent, secondary plugs, but Centric should have a number of those things, and I'm going to look into it this week. Also, we need to have a stormwater protection plan in place, and I'm going to make sure that all of this is done on a regular basis. If a contractor comes to the site and is going to be doing work, and it looks like it could be an environmental issue, he's going to have to file for an MPDES permit, which is a quick and easy thing. But wanted to thank you for your time today, and just a thought, on a limited time basis, maybe we could use someone like Mr. Callahan with a vast knowledge in construction to assist the county engineer and airport manager in construction management and oversight of projects at the airport. So I have no ill will. It's being taken care of correctly, and I apologize about taking up your time with this.
Oh, you're good. Commissioners, you have any questions or anything else about these issues? I will say this, Mr. Kirschenbaum, any and all documentation that we're referencing today, please send all that to Mr. Morone, and it needs to be attached to this agenda so the public can review it, even if it is done later, and we also need to be able to see that.
Yes, sir.
Like these reports and all that. I mean, it's good to bring them up, and I know that you were trying to get the answer before the meeting, which is fine, but it all needs to be made available.
I'll
So if
do
you
that
would
as-
forward that to Mr. Morone.
As soon as I get back to the office, I'll
That's
send
fine.
everything over to Michael.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you.
All right, Ms. Aaron, you ready to open an RFP?
So, Commissioners, you can see first on the agenda was, we sent out a bid up RFP, actually request for qualifications, for a residential property cleanup and clearing services. That was all based that was for code enforcement.
Yes.
To get pre-qualified contractors on a list that when the magistrate says someone has to clean up their property and they fail to do that, that we have a group ready to turn in bids to proceed. Well, it must have been, Commissioner, I know you assisted me with Mr. Chairman, I'm sorry. You assisted me with the, creating the RFQ. Apparently I had 4 or 5 calls, but nobody has turned in any packets, unfortunately. I'm trying to figure out what the disconnect is, so I'll reach out to some of the people that call. What I'm probably going to do, since I guess I'm telling you we don't have anything to open up, so nothing to report. Oh, we have one. I'm sorry, I apologize.
Yeah.
We looked through this morning, we thought everything was.
that one recommended.
Okay. So I do have one. I apologize, Commissioners. And it is for Countryside Hauling. They're out of Tallahassee, Florida. I remember their call. And they've submitted a packet, and I will forward this packet. Thought I didn't have any, so I wasn't prepared. So I'll forward this packet to the review committee. Are there any others?
I don't think so. There's one that's not marked on the outside as far as which project it's for, so we'll just.
I'll tell you what, let's pause this one, let's go through the others, and we can open everything, and then we'll see what actually
That's fine.
belongs to this.
Well, let's
got
start
a
with the library
In
first,
case
but
it
go ahead,
didn't-
Commissioner.
I got a
Marcus.
question to ask you, Michael.
Yes, ma'am.
There was a couple of months ago, we had a bid process out. There was only one applicant. And we voted to take it back out and rebid it because there was only one applicant. Okay? Are we gonna do the same thing with this one?
I might take a different approach, Commissioner. I might actually leave the bid as open and just say the county is requesting contractors to be pre-qualified, because it's not like you're gonna award anybody today in any way. We're just trying to create a list of contractors that's been reviewed by the review committee that are qualified to do the work in case the magistrate says you have 60 days to clean up your property, you don't. Then we have a couple of people that can send in bids to the sheriff's department, because they're doing code enforcement now. They can determine which one is the better contractor
Okay,
for the job.
I just wanna be consistent with
Yes,
what we're doing.
yes. This is a different type of bid. Again, we're not looking to award anything today, just to create a list of pre-qualified contractors.
All right.
So what we might end up doing is we'll see.
Mr. Chairman, I do have a question. Since we're doing this, and you said review committee, is that Who's going to be the review committee?
The review committee is going to be your building official, Steve Patterson. It's going to be Sissy Gwendolyn Smith, Sissy, and James Ham. Because they represent code enforcement, and Steve will be able to look at the contractors and tell you what they're standing if they have any issues with the building department.
Okay.
Yes.
If I heard correctly, I may have a different suggestion. If we're not going to open bids and send them to, or the request for qualifications for the cleanup and clearing services and re-advertise, did I hear that correctly, to solicit more?
No, I said, after we decide how many are here, I'll decide what path we take to go forward. Apparently, some of them were mislabeled or did not label their packets at all.
Okay, all right. Well,
So-
let's wait and see if there are multiple bids.
Yes, and
or
then we can have another
qualifications,
discussion.
Because if we're not going to send it to the committee and go through the process and select, my recommendation would be to
Reject
just
all.
reject every bid. And if we're re-advertising, just everybody would need to resubmit under the new advertisement.
Yes.
And we have, what, one, we think there may be a
think there
second
might be
one
one.
because
Yes.
there's one that's not, doesn't indicate what it's for.
That's not indicated, so we don't know if it's for the Margaret
Okay,
project.
that seems fair. Okay, I just wanted to make sure I was understanding. Thank you.
So let's go ahead and do the one we do know that we have. Will that work? Can we start there?
Yeah, please.
Sorry, I wasn't trying to mess this up. I was just reading what was there.
All right, Commissioners, today we are opening construction bids for the Margaret Key Library parking area improvements in Apalachicola. The project consists of demolishing and constructing, improving the parking area, adding concrete ADA parking spaces, reconstruction of curbing and sidewalk areas, and adding striping improvements. This project will be completed with District 3's paving funds. Unfortunately, one construction bid was delivered after the Monday 4:30 p.m. deadline. As 6 other contractors did abide by the deadline, the county should reject and return the late bid back to the contractor. I will defer to Attorney Schuler if a motion is needed to reject that late bid.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so that's action item 1.
Mayor,
Action,
Can I have that contractor name?
F&F Construction.
Thank you.
So let's do that first. and then
Okay,
proceed.
okay.
Commissioners, the recommendation is to reject the late filed or late delivered bid from F&F Construction. is that
That's correct.
And then we'll proceed with opening the rest.
And once the bids are open, the board will make a motion to release the bids back to the project engineers, Dewberry and Associates, for their review and
I have
recommendation.
one question about that.
Yes, sir.
Was it hand delivered or was it delivered by the mail service?
It was actually hand-delivered,
Okay.
actually in the parking lot at 443, so.
That's fine.
that was-
Okay.
And
yeah.
the deadline was 4:30
That's
on
fine.
Monday.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just want to make sure it was on them and not somebody else.
Yeah.
Just making sure, I mean.
Yeah.
13 minutes
Yes.
Yep.
This
past
is
the
like-
deadline?
Yep.
So-
And it is unfortunate, because it is a lot of work to put those bids together. However, if you accept a late one, you are also then penalizing all of those that did abide by the rules.
Yes, yes, sure. All right, pleasure of the board.
So moved.
All right, we have a motion to approve this recommendation to reject the bid from F&F Construction because it was late.
Second.
We have a second by Commissioner Ward. Any discussion, Commissioners? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? That's unanimous. Ms. Aaron, let's open the bids that we can look at.
Okay? Oh, do you want to do the scissors?
You get one already?
The first bid that we're opening today is from the GeoFlora Group located in Apalachicola, Florida. Again, GeoFlora Group in Apalachicola. The total base bid is $118,004.19. $118,004.19.
Ms. Aaron, while you're looking for that bid bond, I want to ask a question.
Okay.
Just for remembering, so is a bid bond required on anything over $100,000, or is it specific to what we asked for?
You know, it's specific to what we ask for, and I am not sure if a bid bond was actually required on this one, because they may not have. So we will see what is provided by the others. I don't see that in this particular response here. I do see a merchant's line of credit, which may satisfy that, but I haven't seen that before.
Okay.
I'm hoarding them. Okay, the next bid today is Duggar Excavating Incorporated from Crawfordville, Florida. Duggar Excavating Incorporated from Crawfordville, Florida. And their, let's see here. Total base bid, $283,868.40. $283,868.40. This one does have a bid bond. Okay, this next one is from, let's see here, Robertson Roberts Incorporated, located in Tallahassee, Florida. Robertson Roberts Incorporated from Tallahassee. Total base bid, $134,843.90. $134,843.90.
Check for the bid bond.
Oh. Bid bond was included.
Okay.
Okay, and this next one is American Sand and Asphalt Paving, located in Lynn Haven, Florida. American Sand and Asphalt Paving in Lynn Haven. Total base bid, $164,466. $164,466. Bid bond was included.
Too thin, I'm gonna open it anyway. I do believe this is a little line clearing. It's
Oh,
too thin.
yeah, that was the one that was a mystery.
Let you look at it. Yeah,
Oh,
I'll let you read it.
okay.
Just verify.
Yep,
Line clearing?
yep, land clearing. Yep,
Yeah, so that one we thought is for land clearing, the second one, so there are
Yep.
two.
The countryside?
it is, yep. Yeah, their name is Presley's Construction and Land Development
Okay.
LLC from Alpha.
So you can scratch it off that list.
Let's finish Margaret Key and then
Yeah,
go
okay.
back
I
to.
just want to make sure we don't include this one in the Margaret Key. That's what I was trying to get out there.
You lost me. Presley is not for the Margaret.
It's not,
Okay.
scratch it off the list. It's
Gotcha.
not part of the Margaret Key project.
And who's the review committee for these bids?
We got one more, don't we?
Which one?
American Sand?
Well, American Sand, we just went through.
Yeah, it's Countryside.
Yeah, we had four.
We have four.
total.
So,
We got
so it's
Countryside
countryside.
down there.
Wow.
American Sand was 164.
Oh,
Yeah.
no, Countryside was the one that also was mistaken, that is for the land
Okay, so
clearing.
there's two. Okay, all right.
So scratch Countryside also.
Okay.
So you
Well,
had three?
Margaret Key.
Then we
We
have
have
two.
four.
Yeah, we had four.
Two.
Duggar, Geoflora, Robertson Roberts, and American Sand.
Okay. So we,
I think we got everyone
That's
else.
for the Margaret Key.
So there's only four for what we're considering for
Correct.
Margaret Key
Yep.
Library?
That's correct.
Yep.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to turn this over to the review committee, to come back for recommendation.
Engineer?
No, this one's Dewberry Engineers for their review and recommendation.
Dewberry Engineers,
Second.
All right, so we have a motion to approve, sending these forward by Commissioner Sanders. It's been seconded by Commissioner Croom. And Ms. Erin Dewberry will be bringing back a recommendation to the board.
correct.
For you to bring to the board. All right. Any discussion before we vote?
Yes, Mr. Chair. Aaron, can we verify that we did or did not require a bid bond for this?
We will,
Okay.
yes.
Thank you.
All right. Any other discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? That's unanimous.
Okay, now we can go back, huh?
So is there 3 total for the other?
2.
Okay.
The 2 total for the residential property cleanup and clearing services, which commissioners, again, I repeat, is for code enforcement, to assist code enforcement with the clearing of property that the magistrate so allows.
So let me ask a question also before we get started.
Yes.
If I'm remembering right.
Yes, sir?
When we put out this RFQ, we put it out with the intent to build a list.
Yes,
If that list has got 2 contractors on it or 10 contractors on it,
yes,
it gives code enforcement people to contact. If they're not available, they can go to the next one that might be available,
yes.
is what we're trying to do
Yeah,
with this
it'll be-
list.
I'll defer to them. They can
Yes.
either send out any job that they have. They can send it out to all the contractors on the list
Yes.
and get a quote from each one, or they can rotate, you know?
Right, right.
It's similar to what we've done with the SHIP program for
Yes.
years when it was
Yes.
up and running.
Okay.
But yes,
That's fine. Go ahead and proceed. I want to
Okay.
clarify that and make sure
no problem.
that's what I remembered.
So right, with this, I'm just gonna, basically what we're gonna do, I'm gonna list the 2 names publicly. We've opened their packets. Forward this to the review committee.
Yes.
Again, it's the billing official, Mr. James Ham, who's in charge of code enforcement, and Ms. Gwendolyn Smith, Sissy Smith, who's your code enforcement officer.
Okay.
They will review, they will make sure that these 2 can will be pre-qualified on their list and can do property cleanup at that time.
Okay.
And Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
what's the name of the company again?
Okay, so the first one is Countryside Hauling. They have a Tallahassee address.
Okay.
And if you're ready, I can.
Go ahead.
Second one, I'm sorry. And Presley's Construction Land Development LLC, they have an Alpha, Florida address.
Okay.
And those are the 2 that will be sent with a motion, that will be sent to the review committee to pre-qualify them for cleanup for code enforcement.
Okay.
Sorry for the confusion with this.
It's all good.
Just restate for the record who the review committee members are.
One more time, it'll be your billing official, Steve Patterson, James Ham,
Captain.
Captain James Ham, and Gwendolyn Sissy Smith, your code enforcement officer. That will be the review committee that your motion will send it to for their review and to basically pre-qualify these 2 contractors.
Motion to approve.
All right.
Second, but probably a dumb question.
No
So we have a motion to
No
approve by
such thing.
Commissioner Ward. We have a second by Commissioner Amison. Go ahead, sir.
All right, but this can grow.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
I was just saying, we're not locking in just these 2 contractors.
No, this was done in this manner because we have that particular case that's pending right now for cleanup. I can pretty much almost tell you that they may use the same bid qualification and just put it as an open-ended type situation to recruit more as we have more jobs and it gets more situations where people need to clean up their property, there'll probably be a list that grows as code enforcement determines. This
All right.
was.
Any other questions or concerns or discussion? We do have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? That's unanimous.
This should have been the easier of the 2. I apologize, Commissioners.
Was the most confusing.
Yes,
Did
I'm sorry.
everything in my little 3+ years.
Well, they told me when you
But we
want,
survived.
if you want to make God laugh, you make a plan. I'm
I
sorry.
hear you. Well, let's take a 5-minute recess. Franklin County Board of County Commissioners now back in session. We're going to Ms. Erin Griffin for our Fiscal Manager Grants Coordinator report. There's, what, 8 action items?
Yep, there's
That
8.
weren't the late
Yep,
ads? Okay.
correct.
The late ads well, I guess we could go ahead and attach public comment for those late ads, or we need to do them, Attorney Schuler, as we address them?
I could think all the action items at the board's discretion could be handled in one motion, but as you
Yeah.
pointed out, the late additions would need to receive public comment
All right.
per the board's policy.
All right, so I will receive those public comments now. We had a late ad for a TDC Public Safety Services request. It's, was it $6,000, Aaron? Sharon?
Yes, about $6,000. I don't have the attachment in front of me, but.
Right, that would go to the Sheriff's Department. It is a reimbursement request for stuff to do with this weekend with the holiday. And then the Fort Crooms Armory Convention Center change order, which is, what's it, about $34,000?
$33,888.02, and it's for some ADA improvements
Right.
and other punch list items.
Right, okay. So I will call for public comment about these 2 items, and then we can consider what's on Ms. Griffin's report. Any public comment about these 2 items? What about attending via Zoom, Mr. Merle?
The chairman has called for public comments. For those attending via Zoom, please indicate if you'd like to speak by raising your hand on your smart device.
All right.
No hands raised,
So
sir.
we've called for public comment in the room. Those attending virtually, we have none. So we will proceed. What is the pleasure of the board? Do you want to do these items on consent, 1 through 10, or does the commissioners have any they would like to pull and discuss individually?
Mr. Chair, I'm fine with consent if no one don't want to pull
All right.
anything.
Anyone else?
I'm fine with consent, Chairman.
All right. So I would entertain a motion then.
So moved.
All right, so we have a motion to approve items 1 through 10 on this report via consent by Commissioner Crew,
Second.
second by Commissioner Ward. Any discussion before we vote? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? That's unanimous. Ms. Griffin, do you have any updates for us?
I do. The FERDAP Island View Park project, we did have a well-attended mandatory pre-bid meeting on May 14th. Construction bids will be opened at your next meeting. The countywide dune restoration project, dune construction and Moby mat installation is complete at Carabel Beach Park. Sea oak planting efforts will be completed this week. SGI's Lighthouse Park post and rope fencing installation is complete. The planting and irrigation of the coastal hammock area is in progress. For the SGI Stormwater project, the restoration of the landscaping is nearly complete. The project has been slowed due to several inlets needing to be reworked and lowered before the roadway resurfacing can be completed. Paving is expected to resume this next week. Ochlotney Bay boat ramp floating dock repairs. The dock section is being fitted at the contractor's yard. It will be set in place by a crane, probably in the next few weeks, so hopefully we can get that back open to the public. And I just wanted to mention something for the public's information. I do want to address the issue regarding concerns about the excess signage along the Apalachicola Bridge, the excess driveway marker poles along Island Drive, and the numerous stop for pedestrian signs along Franklin Boulevard on St. George Island. All these improvements were installed as part of FDOT's construction activities in the area. The county has contacted FDOT regarding those issues. The most recent reply to the concerns regarding the confusing signage along Franklin Boulevard was a very short, "The signs in questions were installed to protect pedestrians. Florida law requires motorists to stop for pedestrians, not yield." I just want to let the public know that the county did not purchase or install the signage and driveway markers in the areas drawing public ire, and has contacted FDOT regarding the concerns, but was unable to influence changes in the signage along roadway segments managed by FDOT. That's just something that I just wanted.
So let me ask a question then, Ms. Aaron. Can we request or ask them to, in addition to those signage, to actually put up some of the things that you would push a button and it would turn on lights to make people stop? In addition to the signage, is that a request we can ask of them to consider? Especially on Franklin Boulevard is what I'm talking about. Just like you would have in East Point or other.
I know this is not what, that's what Commissioner Ward actually wanted over in Carabel, I do believe.
Yes.
But we got a whole
we don't want a
experimental
stoplight.
situation, yeah.
Yeah.
Stop right there.
If you're in Mexico Beach, let's say for those of
Yes,
us going
yes,
that way, the ones that are
yes.
in Mexico Beach where you see the tourists and
Yeah.
I guess we
Yeah,
can.
yeah, we could ask, I don't know that they would
Let's
concede.
let's ask, because I think that's what people are confused about. So if there's not a pedestrian there, you're not supposed to stop.
Correct.
And they're all over the state of Florida. I was in Tampa, Ocala. I've been all around this last couple of weeks traveling, but for me and for business. And everywhere I went, I saw numerous of these signs, same way. If there's not a pedestrian there, you don't have to stop.
Yeah.
But Florida law is if a pedestrian steps into a crosswalk, they have the right of way. You better be stopping. So once they step out, they don't have to wait for you to pass. If they step into a crosswalk, you better be stopped.
Yep.
That's Florida law.
Well, Mr. Chairman, Carville has them, because they come into there, them lights get to flashing all over. And then Carville Beach, those people still walking across the road without the light being red. But I know to watch out for them. I think everybody else does. I'm like you. If they're in the middle of the road, give them right away.
Yes.
But that's something that I wouldn't want to stop like that.
And Mr. Chair, that was the same thing, I think, I contacted Benny on about doing a traffic study down here at Market Street and Highway 98, same issue, pedestrian traffic.
While we're on the subject of FDOT, Mr. Chairman, I did
Yes.
email Brian Pettis, who is the traffic ops manager, I think, or engineer. And I was over a week ago, and I've still yet to hear back. So if you got a response, I was waiting to give him a call, because I don't, people may be on vacation, they may be out sick, so I take that into consideration. So my plan was, if I didn't hear from him by the end of this week, I was going to give him a call, because I had given him many concerns that throughout all of our districts that I've been given and thought of myself to get a response. It's things we've asked them before and they've declined, but I'm all about ask again, ask again, ask again. They can keep telling me no, but I will call him this week if I don't hear back from him.
And also,
And I'll forward you, I'll forward you the email that I sent. I did forward it to Virginia, Miss Virginia at the road department, so she could be in the loop, but I don't know if I can't remember if I forwarded it to you. Didn't, I don't think I forwarded it to you. But anyway, I'll make sure that, if you can, Michael, that the other commissioners get it, so they have the list.
Yes.
also remember that we have the Transportation Committee that is up at ARPC, and these are also issues that Mr. John Berry turned in for in behalf of the county. So they're aware of it.
Yeah. Mr. Chairman, I've got a couple of things for Aaron.
Okay, go ahead.
One, I know we opened bids on the Margaret Key Library. Have we heard anything on the Carabel Annex parking lot?
Actually, we went out there and that parking area is actually concrete.
Right.
Yeah, so with that being said, you can try to actually overlay it with asphalt. That's not the best going forward. Concrete is extremely expensive. So really, it would probably be good just to kind of identify the one particular area that's really bad, and try to actually get that one panel replaced.
Well, it's all bad.
It's all bad. But I would say the front, right there where you got your parking at in the front, is the worst of it. The back is not all cracked up.
Oh, okay.
Well, the back, I just want something where the public can access it and our employees can access it. And of course, aesthetic-wise, I'd rather have the front than the back. So I don't know what the next step could be, but if anything, the front.
Okay.
So let's just look at the front for right now.
Gotcha. We'll send someone by to look at it and see if there's anything they can do as far as like maybe applying some sort of sealant or, something along those lines, or just patching the panels that are real bad.
Okay. And then another thing, Mr. Chairman, for Erin, and I talked to her about this during the break because I didn't want her to fuss at me during what I said. But anyway, I did ride around with animal control this past week, and I noticed some things that they need in their department. One of which is a side-by-side UTV to go out on the beach and actually issue warnings or citations to dogs that are unleashed. In addition to that, an animal control actual vehicle. And then I talked to Michael about some software because they all are on paper. Wow. And I thought that with this new CitizenServe software, if we could incorporate animal control, because what I found was they had these old school ticket books, and the animal control officer issued a warning, But if another animal control officer goes out there and the same individual is violating without a dog without a leash, how does he know or she know that the other person was issued a warning for a citation to be issued at that point?
You don't.
They don't. And also, I thought with code enforcement, it would be a nice tool so that if our code enforcement officer typed in an address of a complaint and say there was an aggressive dog that had been there before, then she's aware so that she may not approach the property, or she may approach the property in a different manner.
Yeah.
I think it's just going to streamline things because, and I do know that they have to have, for court record purposes, I want to say 7 years of documentation. But they're all still on paper.
Yeah.
And I just think it would streamline, I'm all about streamlining things, make their job easier, make everybody's job easier if we could incorporate that software into our citizen serve.
Yeah, one or two things. One, I'll talk to Angela when she gets back on Monday. We either incorporate it into the code enforcement software, it'll be ready June 1st, there'll be an add-on, or we copy the code enforcement software and say, hey, can you take the same template and turn it into one for animal control? Either which way, we'll talk to Citizen Serve. I'm sure they can do that.
Okay.
That sounds like that's a great idea.
Anyway, thanks, Aaron. Thank you.
Anyone else?
Thanks,
Thanks, Michael.
All right, so just to clarify, Ms. Aaron, are we going to ask DOT or request from DOT about weighing in on the ability to add some kind of blinking light on Franklin Boulevard?
I told her I'll reach out to Benny maybe this afternoon.
That'll work. The other thing is, Ms. Aaron, I want to make sure and update everyone publicly. We talked about we're working on the new nature center in the park there in East Point. That's probably going to be named at a future date. And we were ordering the portable restrooms there because the ones that we're going to have are going to be, a month or two to actually get them?
They are,
Because they're made to order.
Yep.
So the ones we're going to install are the ones that look like, eventually install, are the ones that look like, just resemble the same as they have at Rish Park, which is a state park over in Cape San Blas. So they're portable, they can be moved in the event of a storm, but they're made to order restrooms. So that's what we've ordered for the park, so it's eventually going to be there, but to be ready for July 1st and all the festivities and everything going on, we're going to make sure there are portalettes and ADA portalettes there to be used for the event, correct?
Correct, yep, that unit that is going to be installed there is a modular unit, and the park is located within a flood zone, so this is going to be, we thought Island View was going to be first, however, when we had to reject the first round of construction bids, it does look like East Point Nature Center will get the first modular restroom building, and we will see how those work in the future, because a lot of our parks are in flood zones, so that's actually something in the future which may help mitigate damage.
Maybe, yeah. The only other thing, Ms. Aaron, before we leave your report, about the stormwater project on the island, I know that this is, we have federal money that we use to start all this project. We've also weighed in with TDC dollars for some of the road paving. But I want to remind you, if there's anything we run up against that, any kind of change orders at all,
Okay.
If we need to do other areas of road paving that have not been addressed,
Okay.
please make sure to bring them back to us so I can use road paving funds or whatever we need to do to make it a complete project. I mean, we're already looking at over $5 million, so I want to make sure it's a complete project when we get through. Anyone else?
Just one question. Aaron, have you had any kind of an update on FERDAP?
We have not heard anything.
We should know by end of May,
hopefully. Hopefully soon. Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking, we should have heard
Yeah.
about
Yeah.
last May, 1st of June.
No, there's actually political gridlock going
I
on
was
in
gonna say, I don't
Tallahassee,
think- I
so
don't
they
think
have not
anybody-
That's
finalized
the
their
polite way to
budget.
say it.
And
That up there,
Yeah.
and I'm gonna say this, that is ridiculous.
And we are also dependent upon a lot of those revenue estimates that they provide to us in preparing the county budget. So without them finalizing theirs, it's hard to move forward or to know what to expect.
Right, it is.
Yep.
All right, thank you, Ms. Aaron, we appreciate your time.
Thanks.
And I know it went pretty quick and we voted on the consent, but that was a lot of work just to get to that point. Thank you very much. And the people of Franklin County, thank you. Mr. Walker? Mr. Bowling? We have a presentation from Williams Memorial.
Yes, good morning, Commissioners. David Walker. My voice is kind of hoarse, so I'll try to talk a little slow. It was very kind of quick, Aaron. I thought maybe I'd be a little longer. I was trying to time myself here today, but great job. We have David Walker, CEO, Georgia Wings Memorial Hospital. We have a board action request to approve the purchase of a new Amnocell medication management dispensing equipment in the amount of $261,458 funded through our Rural Capital Hospital grant. Michael had put this on the agenda, so this pretty much explains what we're doing here. The one that we have now, that's the pharmacy medication equipment that we have. It's at the end of life, so we have to get one anyway. So we're using this particular funds to get this particular machine in for our staff and our nurses here at the hospital.
All right, I only have one question, Mr. Walker. Is this a grant we've applied for or a grant we've received?
This is a grant we received.
Okay.
Yeah, we received the grant last year, and we've been doing some research, trying to identify the right timing to bring the new equipment in.
Okay. Is the grant that exact amount, or is it?
The grant is $450,000,
okay,
and we included this particular amount.
Okay.
And so we may use some other dollars within that same grant cycle, okay, to cover this.
All right, fair enough. Anyone else have any questions?
Mr. Chairman, I do. I know you and I were supposed to look at it the other day, and we had so much going on, we never did. Is this a module that is going to require staff to use their fingerprints for authentication, or a badge? How does?
Yeah, right now we have a badging system going in, but this particular system also, you could add fingerprints capability on it, and all it do is make it more safety, user-friendly, with what we have now.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you. That's all I had.
All right. Anyone else? All right. What's the pleasure of the board?
So moved.
Second.
All right. We have a motion to approve by Commissioner Croom, seconded by Commissioner Ward.
I do have a comment.
All right. Go ahead.
I just want to say thank you guys for going after these grants, because this is money that's not out of our hospital fund or anything like that. And this is a lot of money, and these machines aren't cheap. And I do think it's going to make things better and safer for the patients that you guys take care of. So thank y'all for doing that. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? It's a 5-0 vote.
And then the other issue, not issue, just I just want to make one comment before we go to the next item. The Carabel Retail Pharmacy is moving along. We've been meeting with staff, but I want to give a huge shout out to an architect named Marvin Heyman. He donated pro bono up to $12,000 of his services, to help us design the pharmacy over there. I have a letter prepared, to give to him for his service, pro bono services as well. But I just want to give a shout out to him as well.
Thank you. We're going to discuss the Alliant contract renewal? All right.
Yeah.
Go ahead. You or Mr. Bowling, whoever's going to do it.
Yeah, so the bowling, I just kick it off. This is something that Alliant contract, I think we're on a 30-day contract notice with the county. We would like something longer. The traditional contract is a 45-day out, so you can do a year contract with a 45-day out. Usually your contract's still 45 days, but you're just looking for something longer. And that's all. David, you want to say anything?
Sure. No.
And is the one we're looking at going to have an automatic renewal or not?
Well, we can discuss with Attorney Schuler at
Okay.
pleasure of the
Okay.
board as well.
So I guess what I'm trying to ask, are we trying to actually approve a contract renewal today, or just approve the attorney having the discussions to bring it back to us? That's what I'm trying to determine.
Y'all tell me.
Well, I mean, we can certainly, it's at the pleasure of the board. We can certainly, we can have the contract ready to send over to Attorney Schuler to review.
Okay.
But our ask certainly, as Mr. Walker just outlined, would certainly be a
I think it'd be
yearly contract.
better for us and for the public to actually have a document that we're considering looking at.
Mr. Chairman,
Yeah.
I'd like for the board to consider, instead of it being like a 6-month contract, let it be a year.
That's fine.
Let it be a year
That's fine.
contract.
Thank
And
you.
that way we don't
Thank
have to come back for one more year.
Yeah.
But you were 45-day out is what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm fine with that.
I think so.
And Mr. Chairman,
No,
I'm
thank you,
sorry,
Commissioners.
I had, what, my advice to both Mr. Bowling and Mr. Walker was to come and kind of feel the board out for terms today, what you think you might like. So you give both Attorney Schuler and Alliant kind of a sense of how you want the contract to look. Then they bring that document back to you for final approval.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, that would certainly make it cleaner and easier for us. I mean, just at your guidance, I mean, we'll certainly bring it back and meet the needs.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, I did have a meeting with the Davids.
The Davids.
With the Davids.
But anyway, I agree with Commissioner Sanders. I know initially
Yeah.
I'd mentioned 6 months, but a year would be more feasible. But my question is has the contract changed outside of the actual terms? This may be something for Attorney Schuler.
So,
Yeah, I'm
I mean,
hearing
all we're
this.
doing is just moving from 30 days to a year.
Well, that was going to be one of my questions. I'm not
Sure.
sure how much you want to make this sausage live during the meeting,
I mean,
or
just-
build the plane while we're flying, I mean, whatever analogy. But if they're not changing the terms and services and prices or anything of that nature, then,
No.
I'll come back to the board and simply suggest that you have an addendum extending the contract until, let's see, next meeting's June 3rd, so June 3rd of 2027,
Yeah.
with either party having the ability to terminate the contract without cause and at no cost on 45 days written notice.
That sounds
But
good to
I
me.
just, I didn't know if they were going to be proposing any substantive changes or not.
No.
There's no changes. It's the same,
Yeah, no, it's the same contract, same language. I mean, that's what we would prefer. I mean, if and we can bring, either or of us can prepare it. But again, we're honored to continue to serve, the Weems Hospital and the county, and, we certainly appreciate doing business with you guys.
I can,
Absolutely.
I have the other addendums to it, and I can prepare another addendum. I think that would be fine, so.
Whatever's
Yeah,
easiest.
I think the only thing for me that caused any heartburn in the past, if I'm completely honest, was the automatic extension. You know what I mean? Because it was something where we as a board were having discussions and it looked like it was going to get extended regardless of what we thought about it. So that's the only thing I don't want to see, and just me personally, and I'm one of 5.
I agree.
But that was the only thing I had any heartburn with at all in
Yeah.
the entire contract.
Well, at the same time, Mr. Chair, I think all of our other contracts, we don't do automatic extensions anyway, so.
Yeah.
But I do agree with Commissioner Sanders about extending it to a year, so.
Okay.
You want me to tell you the reason why I feel like a year should be it? Because I've sat up on this board for a long time along with all these other commissioners. We got a lot of years up here. And the thing about it is I have to say honestly and truly, I'm like the chairman, this is the first year that y'all came back with a plus to the name. That means to me that Alliant, Mr. Walker, y'all were doing something right. Now, whether it continues on, we want to give you a little incentive to make it continue on. You see what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So that's the reason why it's like I told you all many months ago, many years ago, you got to get the confidence in me built up to where I can have confidence in you. And now I have confidence in you. And that's saying a lot for me. And I just want to say that with that plus on the end of it this year, with the audit and everything that we heard, with the pharmacy, you're meeting the needs of the people. Thank y'all for that. And I think we need to give you a good try at, to continue on what you're doing. You have made a difference.
We greatly appreciate that, and thank you all.
All right, so that's something you're going to bring back to us, Attorney Short, at the next meeting?
Yes, sir.
Okay, do you need any kind of motion or vote for that? Or are you good with just
No, sir,
direction?
because you'll be taking action one way or the other at the next meeting.
Okay. Thank you.
Mr. Chair, really, Michael and Davids, eventually, I want to have a discussion about a new ER. I know we talked about it for some time now, and I just want to see some data. Maybe I can present that, and if we can get this on the agenda to discuss in the future.
Okay, yeah, that'll be great, as well. Once again, thank you all for what you're doing. thank you all for help participating in Hospital Week. You know, we had a great time last week, but I just want to just thank you all for what you do. Greatly appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
That's wonderful. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, we have 2 Davids and 2 Michaels.
Yeah, I know.
And 2 Jessicas. So.
Yeah. So it's David's, the Michaels, the Jessicas. Yeah, we sure do.
That is odd, ain't it?
Hospital Week.
That's odd.
Hospital Week was really good, Commissioners. I mean, you guys really did a lot. That was really good.
Yeah.
Especially the barbecue, Commissioner Croom.
There you go. There ain't nothing wrong with barbecue. Miss Lynn Wilder, Keep Franklin County Beautiful.
Okay.
Have a proposal for us today? And I need to get with you too about some signage, and I'm sorry we keep missing on that. But go ahead with your proposal.
I know you're busy. And I have props here when Michael gets
Okay.
a minute. I know he's doing setting the PowerPoint thing up. So I'll just start,
Okay.
and then we can catch up with the slides. So thank you, everybody, for allowing me to present today. I'm the Executive Director of Keep Franklin County Beautiful. We've also online have the Executive Directors of Keep Florida Beautiful and Keep Wakulla County Beautiful. We have a couple counties adjacent to us that have the same issues. So, you know, we could be doing something that, which way do I?
I'm sorry.
Okay. We could be doing something that other counties can use, or that we could, you know, join in and make it a multi-county effort. So what I'm proposing, or what we are proposing today, is to reinitiate glass bottles and jars and aluminum can recycling in Franklin County. A joint effort between Keep Franklin County Beautiful and Franklin County. And there is a small amount of grant funding available, and I'll get into that. So I think we've proven as a small nonprofit that glass and aluminum can recycling is possible in Franklin County. We've been doing a pilot really for 2 years in Apalachicola, 4 to 6 hours a month, one drop-off location. Let me see if I can catch up here. Okay. At one drop-off location, that's at the Apalachicola Yacht Club. So we're there every other Saturday for 2 hours, drop-off. We have collected in 1 year about 30,000 pounds of glass. So we've made sand out of that. That's about 15 tons. And we've collected over 3,200 pounds of aluminum, or 1.6 tons. I've got copies of this if you guys need them, these slides. And people are coming from not just Apalachicola, but St. George Island, Carabel, and even as far away as Port St. Joe and Cape San Blas, which is pretty amazing to me. This is kind of word of mouth, and it's also Facebook. So it's not widely advertised. We are at the point now we can't increase what we're doing anymore. We've got a small piece of equipment. We've got just a few volunteers that show up. And the piece of equipment we have is really not meant for doing more than we're doing. It's hand feed, it's a lot of effort. So we did a little bit of math. So I talked with Fonda. So each transfer station truck that goes from here over 100 miles up the road to Campbellton to be put in a landfill holds about 15 to 20 tons. They charge the county about $300, $375 a truckload. And then the landfill charges $34 a ton to dump. So we figured we did 30,000 pounds of glass in just one location over a year. That's 15 tons, so let's say that's one truckload. And that's of the sand, so if we did it by volume, there'd probably be more than one truckload of glass. So that means one less truck went to the landfill. We saved $300 or so for the delivery, $500 for disposal. The tipping fee, I think, is only $50, but and we saved a lot of landfill space. So that's a pretty good savings for one little location and one bar over a year. The aluminum, we collected 3,200 pounds, as I said. We made about $1,300. It's 40 cents a pound. And again, we saved the landfill space and the delivery fees from trucking it up there. So I looked, this was one bar and maybe 20 households that we've done this with. There are 8,800 households or dwellings in Franklin County. In Florida, the average household produces 150 to 180 pounds of glass a year. And I counted 18 bars in Franklin County, so it could be plus or minus a few, and that's not counting restaurants. So if you do that kind of math, it really shows you how much we're taking to the landfill and taking up space with a product that we could actually be using here in Franklin County. We think that the key in making this work, you know, the old system, we had roll-off boxes and people dumped things in it. Some of it was recyclable, some of it was trash, some mattresses and things like that. So going through all that stuff really wasn't cost effective and it didn't work. We've proven that if you man a location and accept glass and aluminum separately, that there's no sorting, there's no other things like that that you have to deal with. And we take the trailer away so nobody comes and dumps during the week. I don't know why this is messed up a little bit. So we're proposing a year-long trial with the county to start with 2 new locations for drop-off. Set a drop-off day and a time window. Then take the glass and aluminum collected to the landfill. Aluminum is baled and recycled for money, which the county, we don't need the money for, well, we need money, but we would consider this a county operation. And then crush the glass into sand to use or sell locally. There are a lot of purposes for sand, as you guys know. This is sand. It's not anything different. So you can, the same things you use sand for, you can use this glass-made sand. So the big thing, well, not the biggest thing, but you know, our wastewater treatment facilities use sand for filtration. I found out that our East Point Water and Sewer District takes 2 truckloads of sand for $1,000 a truckload 3 or 4 times a year, or every 3 or 4 months, I'm sorry. Pool companies use it on St. George Island. We could make it a part of your asphalt, the request that we go out, we can make using this sand as part of the bid. Abrasives, you can use it for sandblasting. You can add it to concrete. Landscaping, glass to utility pipe bedding, drainage, filtration, and there's something called glassphalt, which is the sand from the glass and in making asphalt. What we've been using it for, just a few things, at no charge. Oyster Corps is using it to make oyster reef balls and growing Spartina or Spartina grass. We've used it for the basis for brick sidewalks at Lafayette Park and Apalachicola, landscape mulch. The Franklin County Schools using it for art projects. Estuaries Day has used it for the last 2 years. And the EOC has we've given them some to use for sandbags. So this is the heavy lift, is equipment cost. This is a picture of the unit we think would be the most appropriate, and I've talked to Fonda about this. It is an automatic feed, so you won't have to do what we're doing, a hand feed operation. Part of the biggest thing that, time-consuming thing we have is taking the plastic and the metal off of bottles. This would do it by itself. It's got a throughput about 1 ton an hour. So this is the cost, this is reality. A pulverizer would cost about $250,000. If we got a truck and a trailer, in addition to that, it'd be another $25,000. Franklin County, they're part of it. Again, this is a proposal. Would be processing and temporary storage at the landfill, selling the aluminum, obviously, and then using, distributing, selling the sand. And Keep Franklin County Beautiful could help with logistics. We've got trailers and pickup trucks that we could, starting out, we could use. We could help staff drop-off locations. We can help with logistics, outreach, and education. The grant opportunity is from the Glass Recycling Foundation. It's $30,000. It's a matching grant. And equipment purchases are allowed. The deadline for this is in July, early July. So why do this? I mean, we've already got enough stuff to do in this county. It's environmentally responsible. To me, that's really important. Our recyclables, as I said, are being driven 100 miles away to be dumped in a landfill. So it takes up space, it takes energy, it adds cost. I think this kind of recycling supports tourism development and our ecotourism industry. I can see ad campaigns for this. Counties aren't recycling, and glass isn't recycled. Even in Atlanta, nobody's recycling glass. I think if we show that we're proactive and we're initiating this approach to improve the environment, that will attract people and impress tourists. Every time we grind glass, we have people begging us to expand this project, tourists, residents, and local businesses. For now, we've got volunteers and local inmates that can help do this. This is really hard to read. I'll just tell you two things. Sand is the second most used resource on Earth after water. The coarse sand with angular particles is the most important. That's what we use for construction and development and everything else, and that's what this sand is. And then at its current rate of growth, sand extraction is simply unsustainable. So we're also going to be presenting at the Apalachicola and Carabel County Commission meetings. And we're crushing this Saturday from 9 to 11 at the Apalachicola Yacht Club. And you're welcome to come see this operation. That is my presentation. I'm happy to answer questions. And again, we've got Wakulla County and Keep Florida Beautiful online. And what I passed around is the sand that the machine creates. It's kind of interesting. The colors are, you just crush blue sand or clear sand, or just, that's kind of a mixture of brown and green. You don't have to do that.
Yeah. I do have a couple of questions. So, number one, I think this is something if we did entertain it, we would have to do it during our next budget cycle.
Sure.
Because of the amount of money we're talking about. But you said in a couple of places, Ms. Lynn, that so far y'all been giving the sand away, but what we're talking about doing is selling the sand.
Yes.
Okay. I just want to make sure to clarify that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Is there let me ask you this, and you might know more than anybody else in the room. Is it monetarily more lucrative to spend this kind of money on a machine than it is to try to recycle the glass bottles and ship glass bottles and let somebody else worry about pulverizing them? What does that look like?
It's even farther away to.
So how
you'd have to take it to a distribution company.
I think that was the problem we ran into in the past, honestly.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nobody takes glass. I mean, it is, unless you're next to a distributor or something like that.
No. Well, the sad fact of a lot of recycling is when China quit wanting so much of it, that's when a lot of it shut down.
Sure.
Because that's who the actual buyer was of most of it.
Right.
in the end. That was the end consumer.
Right.
So,
Sand is
but-
expensive. I mean,
It
there's
is.
$1,000 a truckload for East Point water and sewer, you know, and they
It is.
get 2 truckloads at a time. So, you know, I'm
And-
not a
and that's
business
every
person.
year.
I'm
That's
sorry?
every year. It's
3 or 4
ongoing.
times a year.
Yes.
And I think Carabel uses it, Apalachicola uses it. I think it's something that you could make money off of. And at least pay for the equipment. It would at
Right.
least pay for itself.
Over time, maybe, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Any other questions, Commissioners?
I have a couple, Mr. Chair.
All
You
right,
kind
go
of
ahead.
touched on one. So what, Ms. Wilder, what happens when the processed glass and sand accumulates faster than what we can sell it?
I would think you'd pile it up at the landfill. I personally don't think you're going to have a problem with that, but.
Well, that's
you
my
know,
other issue.
I'm enthusiastic.
I'm not opposed to recycling or anything,
Sure.
but our landfill is about at its capacity.
Yes.
And I think fund is on the line as well. But where will we physically store this? That's my question. I guess that's the funded question.
Right.
With the limited remaining operational space that we have
Sure.
at our landfill.
Why, you've got
Is there-
county property. I hadn't thought about if we couldn't put it on the land, or keep it on the landfill itself. I've also thought this would be a great small business for somebody. You know, you're trying to develop this the Highway 65 corridor.
Yes.
I came up with a solution how we can prevent the illegal dumping like that we've been doing in the past.
I think, and it's worked for us, if you have a drop-off location, like in the parking lot of the St. George Island, you know, right there, the tourists, everybody parks by the lighthouse, and have it there for 4 hours, and then leave. I don't think people are going to come back in the middle of the week and dump a mattress there, because there's nothing to dump it by. So it would be collecting it and taking it to the landfill that day, and then you're done until the next week.
Which brings me to our next question.
Mhm.
Who is we? And
Say again.
you said, who is we? You said we will be taking it.
I think that's what we have to work out. Initially, Keep Franklin County Beautiful can help with that.
Okay.
I think eventually, once it starts, it's a small operation, at least it was for us. And then once it becomes popular, you know, you're going to get more and more people dropping things off.
You mentioned about manning the trailer.
Mhm.
And who is?
That would be volunteers.
Okay. So let me ask you this. This sand or
Mhm.
glass, it's one of the two, I don't know what it is.
It was glass, now it's sand.
Okay. Does it have to meet any requirements to be sold as sand?
Does it have to meet requirements?
Any requirements? Because like, I'm not walking on this. You got these chunks, so. what-
Yeah, I wouldn't put it in the kids' playground,
Yeah.
no. But you can, right? They say you can. I can walk on it later and tell you, but.
I'm not walking on it. It was some chunks in there. So.
I would put it underneath, right, as a base, and then put regular sand on top of it.
Yeah.
You know, that's how I would use it.
Yeah. Listen, I'm not, like I said, I'm not completely against this.
No,
Those are the
I'm-
questions I have.
This is a proposal.
Those are concerns that
Sure.
that I need answered
Mhm.
and resolutions and solutions to, you know, for me to
Right.
totally agree with that. So.
Mr. Chairman, Commissioner Crew, Fonda's on the line in case you have questions for him.
I just,
Mr.
you know,
Davis
if we,
is, or in
you know,
case
if
he
we
has
went forward to
questions.
this, Fonda, if you can hear me, what space do we have on our landfill?
So, as far as storing the sand, it won't be a problem. I mean, it will be something that I have to ask DEP if we could use it for cover or anything else in the landfill. I mean, yeah, the more sand that we could get out of this, I mean, we surely could. If we couldn't sell, like Commissioner Kroon said, we accumulated so much that we couldn't sell, we could use it at the landfill or either road department, maybe, but it's something DEP for landfill's sake, I have to check with them about it. But for storing it, yes, we have space that we could store it.
And trailers, you mentioned about the trailers, are you planning on person trailers, or are you looking for the county to do
We
that?
already have two.
Okay.
And we can use those until maybe Fonda can find some.
Mr. Chairman, I got a question for Fonda. Fonda, I know with our landfill potentially closing soon, because it's reaching its capacity, is this material that we can use to line our landfill per DEP for the leche and stuff? Is this something we could use for that?
Yes, Commissioner, again, that's what something, with us getting ready to cap our landfill and close, we will still have to maintain it for a period of time. And sand will be needed, eventually as we close it out. But again, I have to check with DEP and ask them if that will meet the requirements.
Okay, thanks.
All right. Anyone else have any questions? Ms. Lynn, thank you for your presentation. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yep. Turner Schulrod.
Blue sand or anything like that, let us know.
Okay. Sounds good. Turner Schulrod, I'm just waiting for the clock to turn because we have a time-sensitive item, correct? Public hearing?
Yes, sir, I'm looking at, it says 10:59.
Yep. That's what I noticed.
Come on, Verizon. Tick tock, tick tock. And it is now 11 o'clock.
All right. Go ahead, sir.
Mr. Theriak is on the line. So unless you have any other directions for me, Mr. Chairman, or any board member does, I would simply turn over the opening of the public hearing to Mr. Theriak.
Okay.
I would anticipate perhaps an order of presentation was Mr. Theriak. We'll chat with you if he has anything to say. If not, then we would go to the staff presentation. Any county commission questions to either the staff or the lawyers would then be addressed, followed by public comment, and then if the owner certainly has an opportunity to make any presentation that they would care to present. But that is a suggested order of presentation of this matter. And as Mr. Theriak has pointed out, this is a legislative action by the board, not a quasi-judicial hearing. Right. So I just want to keep that in mind procedurally as we move forward. So, Mr. Theriak, is your microphone active, sir?
Yes, it is.
I guess it's not. Would you
No,
call?
it is. He is unmuted.
David, can you hear me?
He's there. Hey, Dave, you seem to be unmuted on our end, but I don't know what's happening on your end.
That cat might have jumped on some. Maybe hanged up
Mr. Theriak?
He's there.
I know he's there. 'Cause
Yeah. Trying to figure out why we can't hear him on our end. No, sir, we still can't hear you. Commissioner, Mr. Chairman, would
He
you mind?
just replied he's got technical problems.
Would you take a break until we can sort this out, Mr. Chairman? Thank you.
Take a recess. Franklin County Board of County Commissioners now back in session. We're going back into our public hearing. Attorney Schuler, I turn it over to you.
All right. Mr. Chairman, this is a public hearing to consider an ordinance changing the future land use. Let me look at the agenda, make sure I've got it right. It should be to change the future land use map designation of property located at 186 South Bay Shore Drive, East Point, Florida. And the caption of the case is as follows, which ordinance number 2026-blank, an ordinance of Franklin County, Florida, adopting an amendment to the Franklin County Comprehensive Plan future land use map to redesignate approximately 55.88 acres plus or minus from the residential and commercial future land use categories to the mixed use commercial future land use category located at 186 South Bay Shore Drive, East Point, Florida, lying in section 36, township 8 South, range 7 West, parcel number 36-08S-07W-0340-0000, providing a conflicts clause and severability clause and providing for an effective date. Two changes that I would note for the record in one of the findings. It's highlighted in yellow in the documents I believe you have available online. It indicates that the LPA, your local planning agency, at a duly advertised meeting on May the 12th, 26, reviewed and unanimously recommended approval. This was a draft that was prepared prior to that meeting. There actually was one dissenting vote. I don't have in my memory file the exact number of the members of the LPA that were present, but there was one dissenting vote. And then the effective date in section 4 says this ordinance shall become effective in accordance with section 163.3187 Florida statutes. And Mr. Theriak's on the line. He can correct my memory if it's wrong, but I believe that means that it would be effective 30 days after the adoption. I mean, typically we would file an ordinance within 10 days of the public hearing, and it's effective on the date of filing, but I believe there's a 30-day waiting period here. And with that, unless Mr. Theriak has any guidance for the board at this time, then we would have the staff read out their report and what their recommendations are to the board so that you know what your staff's findings are and their recommendation is on this. The recommendation from your LPA is a recommendation for approval with that lone dissenting vote. And my recommendation is that I concur with your planner's recommendation for approval of the flume. So, Mr. Theriak, unless you have anything to add, we'll turn this over to the planner for her presentation.
Thank you, Mr. Schuler. The only thing I would add is you are correct. There is a 30-day window pursuant to the 163 statutory provision before the ordinance can become effective, and I believe the vote was 4-1. But thank you. That's all I have at this point.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Theriak.
All right, so just so we're clear, there were 6 members present at the P&Z meeting, and there were 5 in favor and 1 opposed. So it was a 5-to-1 vote. So under my staff findings review for this small-scale future land use map amendment, I have a note that this project is part of an approved plan unit development, otherwise known as a PUD, for which both the rezoning and the future land use map amendment were previously approved by the Board of County Commissioners under Ordinance 2019-06 and Ordinance 2023-02. However, staff has been unable to locate documentation confirming that the future land use map amendment was transmitted to the state as required. Therefore, this request is a procedural step to ensure the land use change is properly processed and recorded. As an additional note, this review is limited to the future land use map amendment only. The commercial site plan associated with this development is being reviewed separately under a different agenda item, and the applicable PUD ordinances were included in the agenda packet for your reference. Staff's recommendation is to approve the future land use change in accordance with ordinances 2019-06 and 2023-02.
All right. Commissioners, do you have any comments or questions?
I have a question, Mr. Chair.
Yes.
Bree, has the East Point Water and Sewer District confirmed available sewer and water?
They
capacity?
have, that is something that we will go over during the commercial site plan, but
Okay.
yes, they have.
All right. My other question is, this specific request, is this substantially different than the 2019 and 2013?
I've not made a personal review, but I know that from talking with both, and you're looking at me, so I'm assuming it's directed at me, but in talking
one
with
of
the
y'all
plant,
can
with the planner and Mr. Theriak, it does not change anything from the original approvals. And I'll say that publicly and confidently, subject to correction by the planner or Mr. Theriak.
That's correct, Mr. Schuler. This is the same future land use map change that was contained in the 2019 ordinance. Nothing has changed.
Anyone else, Commissioner?
As of right now, yes, sir.
I have a lot, but I don't know if this is the time to talk about the lot. Maybe we could do public comments and then I'll bring up, I don't know, procedurally.
Well, I mean, if you have questions, you can ask them.
I don't have questions, I just
Oh,
have
okay.
statements.
Okay. Any commissioner questions or before we turn it over to public comment? All right. Seeing no further questions, we will open the floor for public comment. You do not have to have filled out a speaker card to speak at a public hearing. So if you want to address the board about what we have before us today, now is your opportunity. Anyone wishing to make a public comment, now is the time to do so. Where's Mr. Merle at? Can you check via Zoom, sir? Those that are attending virtually?
Good morning. The chairman is calling for anyone attended virtually on Zoom if, well, I have one, to raise your hand and indicate that you'd like to address the board. First one is screen name Barbara, Commissioner. I'm going to allow to talk.
Okay.
And screen name Barbara's unmuted.
Okay.
Good afternoon. Oh, good morning, Barbara Sanders. I just want to be sure that I understand what happened, and if the planner is saying she has no proof that the amendment was ever properly submitted. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yes, I have not been able to find transmittal documentation. It's normally online through Florida Commerce on Florida Papers. It was not present, and with transmittals, there's normally advertisements that go along with it that have to meet certain specifications, and I have not found those, so we are redoing the process.
All right, and so those advertisements are going to be done after today's meeting, or is that the advertisements done for this meeting?
The advertisements have already taken place in the local paper, so we have advertised the meeting in accordance with Florida statute. If this is approved today, then I basically go back to the office, accumulate all of the documentation, transmit it to a number of state and regional agencies along with Florida Commerce, and then that 30-day period kicks in before it's fully adopted.
Okay, thank you. So my concern is not so much this particular project, but other land use amendments I think that have been made, and I don't have a catalog of those, maybe Ms. Robinson does, that the board may want to ask your planner to go back and make sure of any land use amendments that have been done in the past, to make sure they're all that they were all properly submitted. That's my comment, because we're going to have this as an possibly you're going to change your land use plan again. And as someone who's tried to wade through the paperwork to see what's been done and not done, I can tell you, I think there might be other errors that your planner may want to go back and look at. And that's my comment. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Barber. Anyone else? Mr. Merrill?
Anyone else attending virtually would like to comment, please indicate by raising your hand. No hand raised, Mr. Chairman.
All right. All right, so.
Well, I apologize. If you would mind, one just raised their hand.
Okay, that's fine. That's
Fine.
Yeah, it's no problem.
Ms. Potmosi, you would unmute on your end. There you go. She's unmuted, Mr. Chairman.
Good morning, Ms. Putnam.
Good morning, Chairman. How are y'all doing this morning?
We're doing good. Go ahead with your comment.
I just feel like this is meant to go back to the people, since all the documentation can't be found, and you can't really say it ever happened. And so why don't the commission just listen to the people for a change? What says these developers don't go in, they ignore our ordinances, they fill in wetlands, but they shouldn't be filling in, and they exceed our height restrictions. I mean, has anybody even cared about thinking of that? They don't have to listen to our rules. And so just think about what this is doing to the county itself, the people that live here, not the people that visit here. We need to focus more on the people that live here every single day. Yeah, it might bring jobs, but more minimum wage jobs where you can't afford to even rent the places around here to, you know, be able to live a life. So this is something the commission needs to readdress and think about. The people were against it from the beginning, and that's who you represent. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Putnam. Anyone else via Zoom, sir?
Yes, sir, Brenda Carlin.
All right.
She's unmuted, sir.
Good morning again, Brenda Carlin, St. George Island. Just have a question. Is this about the Serenity development?
Yes.
And it was previously approved zone, some commercial, some residential. Is that correct? And what's happening here is it's being changed to a PUD?
No, it was, well, Attorney Shaw, I'll let you weigh in on that.
I will say, no. Hi, Mr. Carlin, Michael Schuler, the county attorney. Good morning, ma'am. In 2019, and I know this because we just looked at the paperwork from the P&Z meeting last week. So in 2019, the county commission adopted a PUD ordinance for this particular development. At that time, it was approved in the PUD as a mixed-use development. It was going from the zoning on the future land use map at that time was residential and commercial designation. So the 2019 PUD changed it from that existing future land use map designation to mixed use as authorized by the PUD. And then an amendment to the PUD was approved, I believe it was in 2023 perhaps, that amended, I believe it was the entryway into the property, designating Begonia, because FDOT would not authorize a entryway from Island Drive because of a nearby pedestrian walkway, which is what I read in the ordinance yesterday. And then there was also essentially a change in the interior layout in the 2023 amendment to the existing PUD, but it did not increase the overall density. It just essentially changed the layout. And I will say that again, confidently, because I believe that's correct, but I'll make it subject if Bree or Mr. Theriak have any, corrections or additions, that's fine too. But I believe what I've told you is correct, Ms. Carlin. So does that answer your question, ma'am, completely?
Well, it kind of goes through the history of how this development, came to be, which I participated in understanding how it happened. What's confusing me, or not really confusing me, what I'm seeking clarification of, because I think this is it's just a procedural thing. The county didn't have a PUD ordinance at that time. Just like last year or something, the PUD ordinance was established. So is this to bring it in line with the current PUD?
No, ma'am.
Because we really didn't have a PUD, but a PUD was put in place at that time anyway?
No, ma'am. It is not doing that at all. It is just simply moving forward with the 2019 and the 2023 amendment.
Okay. All right, well, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Anyone else, Mr. Brown?
Let's see. Is there anyone else that would like to address the board on this matter, attending virtually? No hands raised, sir.
All right. We've asked for public comment in the room. We've received some public comment virtually. Attorney Schuler, I'll turn it back over to you.
Yes, sir. I think we're going back to commissioner questions or to either the attorneys or staff or commissioner comments. I believe Commissioner Ward had indicated she wanted to listen to public comment and may have further comment at this point. I don't know. I don't want to just go directly to the owner without giving the commissioner an opportunity to say whatever. And if there's nothing, then we'll just go to the owner.
I do have some statements,
Okay.
Mr. Chairman. Anytime, something comes up, I always do my research. I met with Bree, I talked to Attorney Theriak, and I discussed it with Attorney Schuler. So just to give a timeline, and Attorney Schuler touched on it. Back in 2019, and this may help answer some questions. So in 2019, which all of us, except for one, was not on the board, it was requested at that time for the zoning change, the land use change from single-family residential mobile home and C2 commercial business district to a plan unit development. So that was in April of 2019. Fast forward to May of 2019, it was brought up in a public hearing setting where at that point it was tabled because there were questions about some affordable housing components in addition to ingress and egress to the development. And in 6/18 of 19, I think the developers and you discussed the ingress and egress and the agreement for a potential affordable housing component. And in July of 2019, there was a second public hearing pertaining to this, and it was motioned for and seconded and unanimously approved. So this particular item and subject was already approved in 2019. So then, and then of course in 2023, we have what Attorney Schuler just mentioned was the ingress egress situation, and they were changing not the land use change or zoning, they were just changing some of the layout on some of the inside of the development. So here we are today, here. And my question to Attorney Theriak and Attorney Schuler and to Bree was, why are we having to re-vote on this, or why is this even having to be addressed when it was already voted on in 2019? Because I felt like that we didn't have to vote on it again. However, and Attorney Schuler, please chime in at any time, the statutes changed. Since 2019, the vote for the approval, the statute on these particular types of developments have changed. So can you or Attorney Theriak elaborate on what that statute change was so our public can be aware of why we are here today?
Yes, sir, and David, chime in if if you need to correct or supplement anything that I say. But I'll do a very thumbnail discussion. In 2019, small-scale land use changes were a smaller amount of acreage than they are today. Under the current statute as it exists today for small-scale land use changes, the legislature has increased that to 50 acres. And because we are qualified as an economic area under, I'm not quite sure if it's a federal designation or an area of critical state economic concern designation, perhaps both, but in any event, that for counties as Franklin County is, we qualify for up to 100 acres for a small-scale change. This property in question, as you see in the draft of the ordinance, is less than 100 acres, substantially less, approximately half, slightly more than half of 100. So we just, procedurally what we do is we hold a hearing before your local planning agency, which is your Planning and Zoning Commission, which was held last week. There has to be a duly advertised public hearing, which is what we're doing now. It's a single public hearing under the new amended statute. If the board approves the ordinance as recommended, then it gets transmitted to the state, and the state essentially takes no further action. It's just recorded in their records. And again, the reason we're doing this, as Ms. Bree explained earlier, is current staff is not able to find any evidence that this step was taken in 2019. So this is essentially a curative action to make sure we do what we're supposed to do for a small-scale land use change. So, Commissioner Ward, I hope that answers your question.
Mr. Chairman, it does. So here we are at this decision. Again, I was quite upset to hear that we were going to have to do this again, because I'll be honest, if I would have been on the board in 2019, I may not have approved this. I may have denied it. I don't know. I wasn't on the board at the time. That being said, what's done is done. Also, what's being said is, I feel it's not the developer or the applicant's fault that the county didn't do what they were required to do by law. So here we are. Here we are. Decisions are not easy when you're sitting in this chair, which is why I do research. I look at everything. I look at every side. I speak with staff. I formulate my own opinion. I think about, how it's going to affect our community, our citizenry. I do listen to the people, although people may not believe that, but those are my statements. I just felt like the board needed a little bit of history because I didn't know how this all transpired. But I do agree with Ms. Sanders in moving forward, and I think you and I talked about that, Bree, is we need to look at everything that we've done to ensure that it is up to par. And not against anybody here, it's against no staff, but I will say that we need to make sure that everything else is on the up and up. And I feel like this is something we shouldn't even be having to deal with today, but here we are. Past is the past. We got to live in the present for the future. So here we are. That's all I got to say about that right now.
Any other commissioners have any concerns or comments or questions based on what we've heard here today? All right. Attorney Schuler, I turn it back to you.
I've gotten the body language nod from the attorney for the developer, and I'm not sure if they want to say something on the record or not, but this is their opportunity.
Right. It's completely up to them, yes.
Good morning or afternoon, not sure where we are now. My name is Dee Dee Rowan. I'm here on behalf of the developer, and I also have with me Melissa Ward, who's a certified planner in our office as well. Wanted to introduce ourselves, make sure that there are no additional questions or concerns. I always try to say as little as possible if there's not much that I need to address. Commissioner Ward has pointed out many of the, points or the timeline that I would have read otherwise to to this commission in terms of what my client thought happened in 2019, and everybody thought happened, thus this commission's amendment of that ordinance in 2019, or in 2023 of the 2019 ordinance. Everyone has moved forward in reliance on what the commission had done, and we were here at the 11th hour, or even 11th and a half hour, just seeking to get plat approval and seeking to get building permits consistent with the ordinance and the entitlements that were granted there, where Mr. Theriak, filling as interim county attorney and doing a very thorough job, said, well, wait a second. It looks like where's the evidence of transmittal to the state? So I respectfully disagree with the one comment made by one of the participants that raised their hand via Zoom. You have all the documentation. Nothing has changed. This is just a procedural step to correct a snafu, an error, an oopsie, whatever you want to call it. It's just something that, that shouldn't have happened, but here we are here again to make sure that everything is buttoned up to move forward.
Commissioners, do you have any questions?
Mr. Chairman, I do. What's your last name, ma'am?
Melissa Ward.
Okay, I'm not related to this individual right here. Just saying.
No, we are not.
No relation. So I just want to make that clear for the record.
I have a funny story for you when we get to break.
Any other questions, Commissioners? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Commissioners, what's the pleasure of the board? We ask questions. What do you ask? What do you want to do?
So the motion you're asking for is to correct the mistake we made, the county.
Basically, the motion would allow Ms. Bree, serving as our county planner, to file the transmittal documents with the state.
I'll make the motion.
If I can, Mr. Chairman, the
Yes.
motion would be to approve the ordinance.
Okay. And that would give her the ability to file.
The effect of adoption of the ordinance is
Right.
what, but the actual motion would be, if you're so inclined, based on your comment, Commissioner Abrahamson, the motion would be to approve the ordinance.
Okay.
As corrected on the record. As I said, I made one change because the draft reflected a unanimous LPA vote, and it was actually 6-1. And then we had also clarified on the record that the actual effective date pursuant to the statute would be 30 days. And the only reason I did that is y'all are accustomed to your ordinances becoming effective, and I think most people are accustomed to ordinances being effective when they're recorded with the state, and in this case, it would be 30 days after it's sent to the state.
Right. Ma'am, do you have a question?
I do. I apologize. Pardon my voice, allergies. I would like to request that, for clarity, that you make the motion to transmit the ordinance to the state as is required under the Florida law, along with the other things that you stipulated to, if you don't mind, that it's in the minutes that way.
Okay. Mr. Theriak, your comments on that request?
I would advise or recommend the board not to amend the motion to transmit. Transmittal only applies when there's a large-scale plan amendment. In 2019, it was a large-scale plan amendment because at that point, the threshold was 10 acres and the property was 55. As was explained by Mr. Schuler, the statute has changed to increase the threshold for small scale. For Franklin County, pursuant to the governor's executive order number 25-141, the county has been designated a rural area of opportunity, which doubles the threshold up to 100 acres. That allows the county to process this amendment request as a small scale. One hearing, no transmittal. All that takes place is if the board votes to approve the ordinance, then the ordinance and the backup gets provided to the state and other agencies, and a 30-day clock runs. If nobody challenges the ordinance, then it becomes effective on the 31st day.
Okay.
So was it never
Thank you.
transmitted to the state
The
prior,
law
right?
changed. Yeah, it never was transmitted before under the old law.
And so the recommendation from staff and myself would be a motion to approve the ordinance with the changes and explanations that have been put on the record here this morning in the public hearing by myself
Okay.
and Mr. Theriak and your planner.
Do you amend your motion?
I do.
Okay, so we do have a motion to approve from Commissioner Amison. Do we have a second?
A second motion.
We do have a second from Commissioner Croom. Any discussion before we vote? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed?
I oppose.
Let the record reflect that it was a 4-1 vote with Commissioner Sanders opposing.
All right, Mr.
It is
Chairman, that
passed.
concludes the public hearing.
Yes, sir.
The next item on the agenda is P&Z Adjustment Board report.
All right, let's take a 5-minute recess and we'll come back to that. Franklin County Board of County Commissioners now back in session. Even though we skipped some agenda items to go to the public hearing because it was time sensitive, I'm going to go ahead and go to the Planning and Zoning Adjustment Board report next, since Ms. Bree is here. She is our active county planner, and, you know, after she finishes here, she might have stuff to do at the office today. So we'll go ahead and get that out of the way, if that's okay with you, Ms. Bree.
Thank you very much. So we will start with a variance request for 1041 Gulf Shore Drive Boulevard. This is a consideration of a request for a variance for 40 cubic yards or 1,685 square feet of riprap to be placed within the Franklin County Critical Habitat Zone. That's 50 feet of the mean high water line and within the coastal construction control line. The property is located in Alligator Point, Franklin County, Florida. Request submitted by Courtney Ashley with Florida Environmental and Land Services, Inc., agent for Candler and Debbie Ward, applicants. And this was a recommendation for unanimous approval from P&Z Board.
Mr. Chairman, again, I am not related to these individuals. Just want to state that for the record. Thanks.
We went from the Davids to the Wards.
Apparently so.
All right, Commissioners, do y'all have any questions?
I did. I've got some comments. I want to show y'all something. Go to the visual picture of that area on Gulf Shore Boulevard. And, okay, now blow it up. There you go, blow it up. Well, blow it up to where everybody can see it. If you'll go to the eastern end of that, bring it to the east, you will see what I'm talking about. You see that structure that is a fallen seawall right there? Those houses used to extend there and farther down that beach. But because of the major erosion that Alligator Point has, it's no longer there. So that's the reason why. Now, one of the problems that I had with it was, and I'm going to be truthful with you, was, like I always am, was the apparent going into the coastal construction line. But if you see, these are about the same all the way down. So it's no different than what's already there. And with the reason it being a highly eroded area, Mr. Chairman, if you don't mind, I'm going to go ahead and make a motion to approve.
I don't mind at all. So we do have a motion to approve by Commissioner Sanders.
Second.
We have a second by Commissioner Ward. Commissioners, do you have any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Let the record reflect it is a 5-0 vote.
All right. Next, we have a critical shoreline application for a dock at 1801 East Gulf Beach Drive. This is a consideration of a request to construct a 2,160 square foot single-family dock with 2 boat slips. Property is located on St. George Island, Franklin County, Florida. Request submitted by Josh Hall, Backroads Consulting, LLC, agent for Russell Bowling, applicant. And this one was also one second. This was a 5-1 vote. There was one P&Z member opposed.
Any questions, Commissioners?
Mr. Chairman, Bree, there is not a current home on this property, but they're not asking for lifts, they're just asking for slips, is that correct?
That's correct, and just as a informational item, they are planning to build a home soon, they just wanted to do the dock first. But yes, there's no electric being requested.
Well, I listened to the meeting via video afterwards. I agree with the chair of our PZ&A board. If somebody wants to be able to sit on a dock at their house, I think they have every right to be able to do so. As long as they're not asking for power, I agree with this request. But what's the pleasure of the board?
So move.
All right, we have a motion to approve by Commissioner Ward, second by Commissioner Amison. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That's unanimous.
All right, next we have a rezoning request for 614 Highway 98. This is a consideration of a request to change the parcel zoning from C1 commercial fishing to C3 commercial recreation. No proposed change to the future land use map. Property is located in Apalachicola, Florida. Request submitted by Torben Madsen, Salty Bay Properties, LLC, applicant. And I need to update the visuals for y'all.
Mr. Chairman, just for clarity, Bree, this is just to take it to a public hearing, not voting to, for the project itself or the change. We're voting to take it to a public hearing.
Yes, that is correct. And I went ahead and pulled a date that would allow us to advertise for 10 full days. And I suggest June 17th for a public hearing.
11.
17th.
At 11 a.m.
Oh, yes.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to take this to a public hearing to be held here at our annex at 11 a.m. on June the 11th. June 17th, sorry.
All right, so we have a motion to approve by Commissioner Ward.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Sanders. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? 5-0 vote. We'll be having a public hearing here on the 17th at 11 o'clock about this matter. All right, Ms. Bree.
All right. The next one is going to be the commercial site plan for 186 South Bayshore Drive. I will take a second to share the correct screen.
Order.
Scared me half to death, Commissioner.
Did you get
I've been after that fly all meeting. It was right there. I got it.
Did you get it?
Sorry, 1 second.
I wasn't quick enough.
Well, at least my heart's good.
Well, excuse me, Mr.
You're good.
I thought we were adjourned already.
No, it was that thing that long. But
Sorry, this was under a different file, so it's taking me a second.
Hard file.
And Commissioners, I would recommend a similar process to the board as you followed during the public hearing, which is staff presentation, Q&A between the board and staff and the attorney, if there are any, followed by public comment, and then any presentation from the owner of the property, the applicant.
so it's not a yay or nay today. It's just going out to the public.
It is for approval, denial, or tabling. Those are the board's options.
Yes. All right, so again, this is the commercial site plan for 186 South Bayshore Drive. This is a consideration of a request for commercial site plan approval for the commercial properties within the Serenity Seaside PUD. This includes a 100-unit resort, meeting space, chapel, pickleball court, tennis court, swimming pool, and beach club. The property is located in East Point, Franklin County, Florida, and request submitted by Jonathan Barwick, Southeastern Consulting Engineers, Inc., agent for LCD Investments, LLC, applicant. And this, from the P&Z board, it was a 5-to-1 vote with one member opposing. And I will go ahead and go into some of my staff finding comments if the board is okay with that.
Go ahead.
Okay. So I'll start with a note. This project is part of an approved plan unit development, otherwise known as a PUD. Please refer to Ordinance 2019-06 and Ordinance 2023-02 for specific provisions related to permitted uses, development standards, density, and lot coverage allowances. This review is limited to the commercial site plan only. The residential components are not subject to public review. The applicable PUD ordinances were included in the agenda packet for reference. And the visual in front of you, just for clarity, what you see in yellow is the commercial property that we're talking about today. This one piece of yellow to the far right on your screen that says Commercial Lot 2, that is not part of today's discussion. It is just everything else that is in yellow. And since this qualified as a full review under Franklin County Code, I was required to send this to the following agencies for review and comments. Emails with all of the application documents requesting comments from these agencies were sent out on April 17th, 2026. The Appalachia Regional Planning Council, they did respond just a few days ago. They did not have any comments. FDEP had no comments. Florida Department of Health did respond, and they said that the pool and spa will require 2 permits from the Florida Department of Health. Both items will require engineered plans to be submitted for state-level review following the initial application process. The applicant is aware of this and working on it. That's something that will be handled during the building permit stage. Also, it was sent to Florida Department of Commerce with no comments received, FDOT, no comments received, Northwest Florida Water Management District, no comments received, and finally, it was sent to the East Point Water and Sewer. They responded that the capacity calculations for the 100-room hotel amenities and corresponding needs will pose no issue for East Point Water and Sewer, nor its infrastructure. The area where they are building will be serviced by their system, and the developer will be installing infrastructure, including a lift station and force main to handle the wastewater produced by the project. And at the end of my staff findings, I do have some recommended language. Any potential motion to approve should be contingent upon the recording of the final plat and the adoption of the land use amendment ordinance, including the 30-day appeal period.
Commissioners, do you have any questions for Ms. Brady? Before we move on to...
Mr. Chairman, I do. In brief, without getting too much into the weeds, what is required? So for this a project such as this, obviously there's a lot of requirements. You got a wetlands delineation, you have a stormwater plan, and all this stuff obviously had to be done before they could submit this plan, correct?
That's correct. The file for this agenda, I believe it had 19 or 20 items within it. There's FDEP permits, there's Corps permits, Northwest Florida Water Management permits. All of their outside agency permitting is in order for this project, so that includes any potential wetland issues, access, and the stormwater, which the stormwater meets the state requirements and county requirements.
Thank you.
Anyone else have any questions for Ms. Brady?
I need to ask a question of Bree. Bree, since I wasn't here either in 2019, was this the original site plan, 2019?
There's been a few changes. It was amended again in 2023, which changed the access and changed the concept a little bit.
Okay, I just wanted to know this.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
Conceptually,
so-
it's the same.
So the 100-unit motel,
It's a hotel, I believe.
can they do a 100-unit hotel?
By ordinance, they
With a
can.
47 height restriction?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, they can.
I'm trying to pull up Bree, if you could help me out. This is a big file. What
Yeah.
schematic, I'm trying to find this schematic that you have up right now.
It is, if you're going through the list, it's number
Page one.
13, and it's page 5.
13, okay. That's a lot of stuff.
There's a
in
lot
this.
of documentation on this one. Yes.
Bree, on the, so did we not, was some at a restaurant in there, correct?
There is a restaurant in the hotel, yes.
So did it not count the restaurant parking?
So as a note in the findings, the applicant has stated that the restaurant is going to be available to hotel patrons only, so there was no additional parking requirement.
Anyone else have any questions for Ms. Brady?
And the proposed height is 47,
Yes,
no cushion.
no cushion.
Or, as in on their end, they didn't leave any cushion.
It's right at the limit, but they are within 47 feet.
And it's page 30.
All right, well, if there's no further questions for Ms. Bree, at this time I'll open up for public comment. Anyone in the room that'd like to comment about this publicly? Mr. Morone, he seems to always know. There he is. I didn't see you.
I'm sorry.
You're good. Well, check online, please, on virtual.
Anyone would like to comment on this item online, please indicate by raising your hand. Again, anyone would like to comment? This would be the moment. Please indicate by raising your hand. No hands raised, Mr. Chairman.
All right, we'll call for public comment in the room and public comment for those attending virtually. We have received no public comment. Commissioners, we're back to us.
Mr. Chairman, for one, okay, so we approved, one denied the flume, the future land use map change. It has to go to the state. To me, I think it's a little preemptive, personally, I'm one of 5, to approve a commercial site plan that we haven't even got the okay back from the state with any kind of concerns or any kind of issues that they may see. So I'm going to recommend and make a motion that we table this until we get response from the state after the 30 days. That's what my motion is to table.
So we have a motion to table by Commissioner Ward. Do we have a second?
Attorney Schuler, can you weigh in on that, please?
Yes, sir. I had a conversation yesterday afternoon late with Mr. Theriak. And Commissioner, if I may, I mean, my advice is that the state is not going to return back with any comments. That was the old procedure. When we spoke with David yesterday, he talked about the small scale that used to be 10 acres, and this would have in 2019 been a large scale land use, which would get transmitted to the state. They would then send comments back to us. We would then have an adoption hearing. And if we did not adopt the state's comments, then they would have an opportunity to contest our decision, which means it could go to court. But with the change in the amendment on the small scale, which for us, because of the different qualifications for Franklin County that Mr. Theriak mentioned, that small scales are now up to 100 acres as far as Franklin County is concerned. We transmit to the state, but they don't take any further action after that. And as Bree had indicated in her presentation, and I had indicated on the ordinance, it's not effective until 30 days from now anyway. But we're not expecting the state, and nor will the state be basically challenging what the board has done. I mean, the way I took my conversation with David is they're going to take the future land use map amendment and they're going to put it in the filing cabinet, and they're not going to do anything because it's a small scale as opposed to a large scale. And I know, frankly, I was confused yesterday when we were talking to David because he talked about the old large-scale amendment, which would have applied in 2019, and then we had a lot of other discussions, and then he talked about the new small scale. So I was frankly a little confused and had to call him back to get clarification. But that is my understanding. Now, how the board wants to act, that's entirely up to the board, but I'm not expecting any comment back from the state that we would then have to take any further action on regarding the future land use map. So I don't know how that impacts, the board's decision, but procedurally, there's not going to be an action by the state back to the county, which we would worry about potentially, if the state were to challenge and it's premature, then we couldn't, then we would end up in a situation where we've approved something and then it gets challenged by the state. That's not going to happen, but there is that same 30-day period where the future land use map amendment that you've approved previously is not going to be effective for 30 days, so they can't do anything on their commercial site plan for 30 days anyway, because they have to wait for that future land use map amendment to become effective. So just something for the board to consider as you decide what to do.
Mr. Chairman, may I weigh in as well?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Oh, I didn't realize Dave was still. I would have handed it off to him. I didn't know he was still on the line.
I'm still here, Michael.
All right.
Nowadays, on a small scale, the only action the department takes is they may send a letter back saying received, and they put it in their file. They don't do a review. They don't do any comments. That's limited to large scale, which for Franklin County would be over 100 acres. And if the board votes to approve, the motion should include the condition that Bree mentioned, which is that the approval would be contingent upon the future land use map becoming effective.
Could I add on to that, please?
Yes, you can.
So my report included 2 potential contingencies, and I'll touch on both of them just for clarity so we're all on the same page. One was that the plat has not been finalized, nor have 911 addresses been specified for each structure. So that is one of the contingencies, that the plat would need to be finalized. The second is that the land use amendment would need to be finalized following that 30-day appeal period. Just so everybody knows how the staff works, I think a concern here is possibly like premature construction before these things have been done. Just so everybody is on the same page about how we handle it in office, no building permits for anything in this yellow section could be issued until, one, the plat is recorded, but also until that future land use change is finalized. So until both of those things have been checked off the list, they cannot apply for a building permit to start construction on any of these structures.
Thank you.
Right, but to go along with what you're saying, Ms. Bree, if I'm understanding you correctly, so without a commercial site plan approval of stating where they're going to be at, you can't assign 911 addresses.
Yes, it's kind of a chicken and egg situation.
So it is what it is. So the commercial, and I'm sorry, I wasn't trying to cut you off. We've, over the time I've been here, we've done a number of land use changes and commercial site plans at the same time. That's been a very common practice. But the commercial site plan is just showing the board and the public where each individual thing that's in this commercial site is going to be located. It's almost like a final draft, if you will, correct?
That's correct. Mainly what today we're looking at is to make sure this development falls in line with those 2 PUD ordinances that go with this development, and also Franklin County Code in general and our comp plan. It's a lot to kind of talk through, but throughout my report, I touch on the height, setbacks, parking requirements, stormwater management, utilities, and also some vegetative buffers that are required in those PUD ordinances. So from my review, they have checked all the boxes with those 2 remaining contingencies.
And us potentially approving it today would only allow staff to continue to work through everything they needed to work through for the project.
Yes, we would still we would be on pause until the plat is recorded and the future land use map is finalized.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure I was remembering things correctly.
I'll rescind my motion to table at this point.
Okay. So we have a rescinded motion. Do we have any additional questions, or what is the pleasure of the board?
So just to lean back on history again.
Yes.
This is the same site plan from 19, with the exception of the ingress egress that we handled here at 23.
It's pretty close. So it went from originally, I think it was a 60-room hotel, and around the lake area, there was going to be like small bungalows that made up the other 40, but now they've consolidated them all into one. That's really the only change I know of that I've seen on it.
Yeah, just, Mr. Chairman, in the history, it was bungalows and hotel rooms, and then the ingress and egress. Those are only 2 changes that were in 2023, was the bungalows and rooms to the 100-room hotel instead, without the bungalows, and the ingress egress.
I did just, sorry to interrupt, I did just put the conceptual plan that was attached to the 2023 amendment on the screen. I'm sorry, I can't figure out how to flip it sideways for you. But you can see in summary, conceptually, it is the same. However, when they get to commercial site plan, of course, they are going to have to move some things around to meet the setbacks and the actual specifics of the ordinances. But yes.
So what's the pleasure of the board?
I'll make a motion to approve the commercial site plan so that staff can continue.
So
You need-
The contingencies.
I'm sorry?
With those 2 contingencies?
Yeah, with the 2 contingencies, I'm sorry.
So a motion to approve with the contingencies that the planner has listed here today by Commissioner Anderson. Second by Commissioner Kernan. Any additional discussion before we vote? Seeing none, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed?
I oppose.
I oppose.
Let the record reflect that it passed with a 3-2 vote. Commissioner Sanders and Commissioner Ward both opposed. Anything else, Ms. Bree? That concludes it, doesn't it?
That is it from me. I am going to stick around for a few minutes because I believe
Yes,
Commissioner Ward had some comments.
Mr. Chairman, in my research and everything with this Serenity stuff, I've noticed a lot of different things within our comprehensive plan and our zoning code and even some of our ordinances. Because, anytime you read something, it refers to this ordinance or that ordinance. And a couple of those ordinances are our critical habitat. I think it's 89 something and then 88 something. So the critical shoreline and then the critical habitat zone, I believe. I read one of them, and if you ever pull it up, it's kind of funny because it's on this paper that obviously is aged. But I think it's what we have is good, but I feel like that there's a lot of verbiage and changes in the verbiage, and there's in our comp plan, it referred to some summer cove or something that I was like, what is that? So I know there's summer camp, but is there even a summer cove in Franklin County? All that to say, I feel like that we need to, as ARPC, aren't they supposed to be working on our comp plan? Trying to,
Yeah, that's correct. I have to look at my notes because at the time Justin was working on it, and we were waiting for some legislation to pass or something.
180, Bill 180.
Yeah.
Marietta, Jackson County did a comp plan amendment, the state
And it
told
was
them no.
rejected.
Yeah, so we kind of slowed our roll on that. But yes, there's a lot of stuff that in our comp plan and our comp plan that is dated language. It refers to departments that don't exist anymore.
That's correct.
There are several things that need to be cleaned up. Not to mention, there are things that are just incongruent, like the commissioner's talking about.
So, yeah, Commissioner Ward, to answer your question, yes, ARPC did do a review. They did have suggested changes, but it was put on pause because of that piece of legislation. Now,
she's got her hand raised.
Sorry. It was also very minimal updates, like the chairman said. It was names of organizations and dates were being updated, so very minimal updates. I have gotten quotes for a complete comp plan overhaul to evaluate the content and step through it piece by piece. Once we get into that, it's going to be probably about an 18-month plus process because we have to go through each element, do public hearings, and get a lot of public involvement. The quote for that was over 6 figures, so we did apply for legislative appropriations to cover it. If we get it, we'll move forward. If not, you might see me come in and asking for money sometime soon.
So I can tell you an update to that.
Okay.
It's at least made it into the budget.
Okay. Let's hope it stays
So
there.
the governor's still got to sign it and everything after it, but it at least made it into the budget.
That's a good thing.
That is a good thing.
For sure. Let's hope it stays there.
But yeah, there's just a lot of things, and again, I know 1988 was a long time ago. I think, maybe like 9 years old. I don't think Bree was born, but it just needs to be updated. In my opinion.
Wow, is she
I think
picking
so.
on me?
No, I said.
Easy.
But anyway, that and if, Bree, if you come across anything like that, I know we can't tackle all of our ordinances at once. That would be a huge ask and task. But just the important things that you deal with every day that you see that might need to be amended or changed, then I think that would be the best way to move forward. I know you've got enough on your plate already, but I just feel like some of this stuff needs to be cleaned up a little bit.
Absolutely. I'm trying. Just because we've been talking a lot about the future land use map and the zoning map. As I've been going through it, I have been finding some inconsistencies where an ordinance was passed to approve a rezoning, and that change didn't quite make it onto the original plat map, which is our holy grail resource that we use. So I have slowly been going through about 30, 40 years of ordinances. And if I see a rezoning, I'm trying to make sure it was actually changed on the map. So we've got a lot of correcting and sifting to do, but trust that I'm working on it.
I know that too, looking at the paperwork that she submits, the map, one was like 1988.
Mm-hmm.
So we've definitely, and it's all paper. I'd like to be able to look at something online and say, this is what it is. And then she puts it in there, that's great. But if I wanted to look something else that is not on the agenda, just for my own purposes of knowledge, then it'd be nice to have it online and something that's updated. The lines that are because things have changed in our county over 20-plus years, so that's all.
Yes.
Anything else from Ms. Brady?
That's it from me. I know,
I only have one thing I'd like to just say. First of all, it was a pleasure coming over here to meeting y'all. I appreciate the time that you've allowed us. I want to tell you that Bree has been exceptional. I have 25 years' experience in planning, AICP certified with the American Planning Association, and she has been exceptionally beneficial for me to understand your processes and go through your documents. You were just mentioning, it was one of my difficulties was the multitude of documents you have to go through to understand what's happening, and she was critical for me to understand that. So I just want to extend my thank you to Bree, to your attorney, to David Theriak, and to you as the board. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms. Ward.
Commissioners, I recommend development applications all now contain a non-compete provision. They can't hire our planner.
I knew you were up to something.
Oh, Lord Jesus.
Oh, I knew you were up to something.
I thought non-competes were right up there with NDAs.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go.
Goodness.
All right, so we're up to you, Mr. Morone.
Yes, we are, Commissioners, and let me say, my first three items are pretty much administrative. One is Career Source. You know, it comes a time during the year where they keep sending stuff. I don't want to make it sound like a bad thing, but, you know, they have different items that pop up. So that's their budget that that as being part of, under their region, you have to approve. The next is the Maritime Museum contract. It will be a ribbon cutting next month. We are there, ready to open. And so John just needs that contract. I think I attached a contract that was there, that was used, with basically the same thing as what we're going to use.
Yep.
Unless you guys want to change any language on it, just let me know and we'll get it changed. And the third item was St. George Island, July 4th, their parade route, same route as last year. Different people running it. Ms. Jessica Sparks submitted it, but it's apparently they're different. If you notice on the map, on the route map, it says no more water balloons, no more the powerful guns.
Yeah, they're trying to cut
I guess
off.
there must have been some incidents or something. But
Well,
anyway,
not just that. I mean, some of them people,
they go overboard.
yeah, and it's one thing to wet somebody.
Yeah.
It's another thing to have a cannon and pull it right up to your ear and do it. You know
Hit
what I
a
mean?
child or
That's-
something too.
It's
so.
just, yeah, it ain't good.
So those three could be approved as consent, and
Okay.
if the board so desires.
All right, so we have a motion to approve items 1 through 3 on consent by Commissioner Amison,
Second.
second by Commissioner Ward. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? That's unanimous.
To the bottom of the page, you see it starts off about the transfer of EMS management, so we're almost there. We're shooting for that June 1 date. So basically, Louis, as we all know affectionately, Louis is now in charge of EMS. He's working with both directors to make sure there's a nice transfer of information and get us set up, and officially, hopefully, fingers crossed, it will be under your flag come June 1.
All right?
Mr.
Yes.
Chairman,
Yes, go ahead.
did you
Now,
get
come
it?
on now.
That's it?
Look at that.
You
You
didn't
didn't
slap
get it
hard as
either?
Miss Cheryl did.
We're gonna have environmental people coming to see.
And let's remember, I just want us to remember the board and let everybody else remember that this week is, like David Walker said, EMS week. And I can tell you, we've had a lot of incidences from the past month or two, that if we had to have that ambulance and stuff out there in the eastern part of the county all the way to Alligator Point, we had to have that, it would have been some bad stuff happening. So thank you for the board for supporting that we have, but I just wanted to remember that this week is EMS week. I think it follows law enforcement week or something.
Something like that, yeah. Anyone have anything else for Mr. Morone before we move to Attorney Schuler's
I
report?
do, I got one thing.
All right.
On, under Richard Lewis, overseeing the both the EMS directors, is there any additional compensation that we're looking at, or what? How's that
You know,
working?
Louis was nice enough to, we smiled at him, he was nice enough to do it at the rate he's doing it right now as our coordinator. So he'll just bill us for the hours as needed.
Will that be a permanent thing?
No, ma'am, no,
In
look, yeah,
transition.
just as a transition, June 1, Mr. Graham will take over officially.
Okay. I just wanna
That's
make
just for the next couple of weeks, basically.
Anything else for Mr. Morone? All right. Attorney Schuler, we're going to you. How do you want me to proceed? Do you want me to call for public comment before we do your report, since it was added as a late item, or what do you want me to do?
Sure. The three items are setting scheduling an executive session in the landings at SGI LLC versus Franklin County, case number 2025-56-5A. I noticed a typo here. It is not the year 2200, but the case number is 2025-56-5A. CA. The next issue is approval of the assignment of a commercial lease for the East Point Ambulance Fire Station that you approved at the last meeting, and also approved at the last meeting is a legal services agreement for code enforcement, which is also ready for board consideration with the recommendation of approval and for authorizing the chairman's signature both on the code enforcement prosecution agreement, the commercial lease being assigned for the East Point Ambulance Fire Station from the hospital to the county, and then scheduling the executive session.
So at this time, I'll call for public comment on any of these items, since it was a late ad. Is there anyone in the room that would like to comment on it publicly? Mr. Rowan, would you check virtually?
Anyone attending the meeting by Zoom would like to comment on any of the three items Attorney Schuler just went over from his report, please indicate by raising your hand and your smart device. No hands raised, Mr. Chairman.
All right. Sir, I've called for public comment in the room, and those attending virtually, we received none, so I'll take it back to you.
The first action item is on May 5th, 2026, the board approved scheduling an executive session in Franklin County case 2025-56-5CA, landing at SGI LLC versus Franklin County. The notice of, or a notice of the executive session has to be advertised in the newspaper, so keep that in mind when you're thinking of dates. Typically, it would be advertised the Thursday before the executive session. Historically, the board, I believe, tries to schedule these executive sessions in the afternoon following a regular scheduled meeting, because your schedules are pretty much cleared up, but the board may want to do that or some other date and time, so I'm requesting board direction.
So how long does it have to be advertised? Is it a 2-week advertisement or just one?
No, I think an advertisement the Thursday before is sufficient.
Okay.
The statute just says you have to give public notice, and we're about to announce it publicly here. So.
Mr. Morone, what is our schedule looking like for our next meeting?
Can make the next meeting?
That I'm not sure about.
Or is it already?
Might be pushing it.
On the 17th, we just did another public hearing.
We did.
And this would have to be like probably after lunch.
Yeah, typically we would do
1:30.
we wouldn't do it during the regular meeting. Typically, it would be like
1:30 to-
1:30.
Yeah.
So that is June 3rd is your next meeting. Today's the 20th. Yes, I could get it in the newspaper Thursday, May 28th.
Is everybody okay with that date, or do y'all have anything else going on?
So it'll be June 3rd?
For the
Yeah,
June
after
3rd
we've
meeting,
already
or
got
if the board prefers to do it on June 17th, I'm sure that's what it is, because we're meeting on the 3rd, or the June 17th, I mean, that, or some other time, that's completely up to the board.
So earlier when we scheduled that public hearing, didn't we schedule it for the 17th?
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
At 11.
okay. So the 3rd, there isn't a public hearing?
Yeah.
Yeah, there is a rezone, subject to written confirmation, the 11 o'clock public hearing on a rezone in Lanark, I believe, is going to be withdrawn, but it's presently advertised and scheduled for 11 a.m. June the 3rd. But I
So either
also
way,
would-
both of them look like they have a public hearing presently,
Yeah.
both the meetings.
My understanding is it's supposed to be withdrawn. I'm just waiting on it to be withdrawn in writing.
And June 3rd, besides all your directors, the agenda looks pretty light. As
Okay.
of today. As of
You
right now.
just jinxed it. Thanks a lot.
Say again?
You just jinxed us. Thanks a lot.
I did? Really?
Yeah, the curse of the short agenda. You never talk about short agendas.
we do it on June
Add this to
Are
it.
y'all good with the 3rd, Commissioner?
Yes, I'm fine
Yeah, I'm
with
good.
that.
Okay, let's do it for the 3rd.
So need that approved by motion and vote.
Okay.
I make a motion.
I second it.
All right, so we have a motion to approve by Commissioner Amison, second by Commissioner Sanders, of using the June 3rd date, which is our next scheduled commission meeting, for 1:30 in the afternoon.
That sounds
Is that
good to me, but
what everybody's
let
good
me
with?
double check with Dave, make sure that,
He's not.
I'm good.
oh, you're still on the line? Okay, cool.
I'm still here.
Look out.
You don't give him enough credit.
I tend not to look at anybody other than commissioners
We
that are
forgot
on those
about him,
videos.
You're hurting my feelings, Mr. Schuler.
Wait, the one feeling you have left. Okay, all right, June 3rd at 1:30 PM it is.
All right, any more discussion before we vote? All in favor? Any opposed? That's unanimous.
Okay, next action item is board approval of the assignment of the commercial lease for the East Point Ambulance Station located in Suite C, Sellers Tile Plaza, 171 Highway 98 East Point, Florida. And the assignment is going to be taken as is, where is, for a lease that expires on November 30th, 2027 at 12:01 a.m. Since we're taking an assignment, we just have to take it according to its terms. But then we can renegotiate terms for any renewal, and I have provided in the assignment that the lease shall not automatically renew. The lease doesn't already automatically renew, but I want to make sure we highlight that for the landlord so they understand that when they execute the assignment, and then we can renegotiate some of the terms if that is the will of the board. Presently, as I said, the expiration date is November 30th of next year, and the monthly rent, I believe, is $1,500.
Okay.
Yes, $1,500 plus any applicable sales tax, which I don't think applies because the legislature, I think, got rid of sales tax on leases. Unless it's an airport lease, they still charge tax for that. So the
Pleasure of the
recommendation is
board.
approval.
So moved.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Ames,
Second.
second by Commissioner Crew. Any discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? That's unanimous.
And thank you, Commissioners. The final action item is recommendation to approve the legal services agreement for prosecution of code enforcement cases with the sheriff's attorney, Mr. Ethan Way, or actually his firm. His hourly rate is $175. He and I went back and forth and negotiated the terms of the agreement. But yes, it's $175 an hour. Bills not paid within 30 days get a 1% monthly interest rate pursuant to Florida Statute 218.744. The board would pay their reasonable expenses that they incur or he incurs for representation and the code enforcement, but he also has to account for any of those costs, provide bills and things of that nature. In the event of dispute, everyone will pay their own attorney's fees. Either party can terminate in 30 days. And the only thing that I would bring to the board's attention in addition to that summary is I was not clear how the board was going to deal with the code enforcement budget moving forward. Right now, the budget is on the county side, but now that code enforcement's been transferred over to the sheriff's department, no one knows whether the board wants to, and I'm not asking you to make any comment or decision today, but it may be during budget, y'all want to transfer that budget in conjunction with discussions with the sheriff, or you may want to keep it on the county side the way it is now. But regardless, whatever decision the board makes, if we keep it the budget where it is, this contract is good going forward until terminated by either party. If the board and the sheriff decide to make any change in terms of where that code enforcement budget item is located, whether, say, for example, in the sheriff's side, then we can just terminate this agreement, and then he and the sheriff can come to, sign their own agreement. But right now, moving forward, until the board makes a decision, it's going to be on the county side. In the budget, I think Aaron told me it's like $70,000 or $50,000 for code enforcement. But the recommendation is to approve as submitted to the board.
Okay. Pleasure of the board.
So moved.
Second.
All right, we have a motion to approve by Commissioner Ames. It's been seconded by Commissioner Sanders. Any discussion, Commissioners? Seeing none, all in favor? Any opposed? Let the record reflect that's a 5-0 vote.
Okay, Commissioners, 3 information items. One's on my report, which we just talked about, the potential rezoning at Inabob Street for June 3rd, 2026 at 11 a.m., pending a written withdrawal of that application. There won't be any refund given because the ad's already gone to the paper, so if they withdraw, then they're not getting a refund. I know that because I heard it from staff. And then 2 other updates on land transactions. One is the property trade with Duke Energy. The other is the USDA closing for the East Point Library, where the board assumed the mortgages on that property. The closing agent sent me an email late yesterday. I responded to the email this morning, so they're finalizing the closing documents. I would anticipate both of those closing pretty shortly. I don't have an exact date from the closing agent, but she's got her title commitments in hand, and she has said that once she gets her title commitments, she's pretty much ready to close at any time. So she's going to prepare the documents for the Duke Energy transfer and send it to me for review. Closing agent has already looked at the USDA closing documents that USDA prepared, and she is satisfied with those, which is good because trying to move USDA is trying to like quickly turning a battleship. They don't turn quickly, they just go in a straight line. So that's the report.
All right.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Questions for Attorney Schuler? All right, then we're to Commissioner comments. Any Commissioner comments today?
Mr. Chairman, just so the board is aware, I don't know if FDOT was listening to our meeting, but when I mentioned it a while ago, I've noticed I had a missed call from FDOT, so
Yeah.
I will let Michael know what the outcome of that conversation was.
Good.
I got some, Mr. Chair.
Yes.
I was made aware of, I guess the Appalachian Center wants to honor Harry Falk, who's a resident of Apalachicola, for his longstanding membership of the Board of Directors, and that event will be on July 10th. The time is still pending, and they request if a couple of us can be there to
Please send it to Michael Morone so he can send it to everybody.
Yeah.
So we make sure we have it, Commissioner.
And also, Commissioner Ward actually brought this up. Something that we did for the hospital was the cookout there, and she brought up about maybe we can try to do that for our county staff, which I'm not opposed to it. We just have to figure out a
good
date,
time to do it.
maybe cooler,
Yes.
but I'm not opposed to that. So it went real well.
Gotta
Very
figure out-
appreciative.
We've talked about it before, but we need to come up with a date and actually start doing it. That should be something we do annually.
Yeah.
Commissioner.
I'll buy the chicken.
Now we got something on the hood, so let's move.
Nah, we'll cook it together. We'll figure out, Michael, if you would, figure out, like with staff, if they want it here or over at the East Point Annex. I don't know what would be better, but maybe we can borrow the smoker from the church again and just have a good fellowship day of appreciation to the county employees.
Hey, actually, I've got something, Mr. Chairman.
Yes,
I'm trying to remember. Monday before last, I went on a boat ride with the new chair or president of the Bay Savers over in Gulf County. Along that ride, we had 2 of the hydrologists that's been looking at this for the last couple years. We went out through the canal in St. Joe, came up through the intercoastal to Women Cove right on through. Well, anyway, just to let y'all know, the hydrologist, all the way back when I first took office, I went over to some of the Bay Saving Group thing because they approached a partnership, or APSI at the time, and the hydrologists were saying that the flows were not reflecting at that time, because I'm assuming that the data wouldn't show them what they enough at that time. Well, now it's kind of done a 180. The hydrologists are actually seeing a high rate of fresh water going out that way that we're losing coming down the Apalachicola. So just letting y'all know, and again, not poking a sore or anything. People, as data comes in, more information, people have a right to do a 180 on something when they see, and I appreciate that. But just to let y'all know that is a fact that we are losing a tremendous amount of fresh water going up that Jackson out through there. Obviously, that's affecting Gulf County, but who it's really affecting, I think, more, because I think from what they're showing now, 87% of that fresh water is going on to St. Andrew or West Bay over there, where the other 13% is going into Gulf County waterway. So just giving y'all an update on that.
Okay. Want to remind everyone, this weekend, going into early next week, is one of 3 very important days on our calendar. We have Armed Forces Day, where we celebrate those that are actually actively serving. We have my favorite day, because it's my birthday, but that's not what's good about it, Veterans Day, when we celebrate those that are no longer serving but did serve, our veterans that are still with us. Then we have this coming Monday where we remember those who are no longer with us that serve, Memorial Day. That's the correct terminology for all 3 days, but they're all 3 equally important. And it's just a very important time. We're celebrating 250 years of America. Has it all been perfect? No, but we're still here, baby. So just remember those that you know and those families you know and friends you have that had members of their family that served that are no longer with us on Memorial Day. They gave everything so we could enjoy our way of life. So very thankful for that. Just want to make sure to remember that today before we adjourn.
It did. And let's remember, I just want to bring it to the board's attention. Let's remember that we still have several, I know of one real special person in Lanark that served in World War II. We haven't got many of those World War II veterans left. And every time we get a chance to, and I got to tell you, he's 96 years old and goes everywhere on a walker. But I'm telling you, but the sacrifice they made way back then and what they've had to live through all these years. I was a proud granddaughter of a serviceman in World War I. And he died from, my grandfather died from mustard gas that was used in World War I. You know, lifting the young family and all that. But, you know, that's the sacrifices that they make for us to be able to express our opinion and everything. And that's why it's so near and dear to me, is because I know where it comes from. I can feel it. But I'm like you, Mr. Chairman, we need to remember those that need to be remembered and their families also, because they give the ultimate sacrifice.
Thanks for sharing that we still had a member of the greatest generation with us.
I'm telling you.
Because that's what that was.
You know
That was the greatest generation.
No doubt.
All right, any other commissioner comments? We are adjourned.